asking the question for Andy.
Yeah, bro.
Going to do it on the pitch? Or?
Sure.
Hang on.
Hang on, mate. Whoa.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Go again.
Sorry, mate. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, go. Heads.
It's the ball. There's a hit. Ball. All right, gents, we'll give you about 5 minutes before we start.
Right, thank you very much.
Two photos, boys, don't forget. Let's put the schedule 2 photos.
And it's a warm welcome to the SCG for the finals of the Plan B Regional Bash, and we've just had the toss for the first match between the ACT Aces and the Central West Wranglers, the Thunder Conference Final, and Captain Ethan Bartlett from the ACT has won the toss and elected to bowl. Ethan, what was behind the decision?
I suppose for most of the boys it's their first time here at the SCG, so probably give them a chance just to settle in, and yeah, I think that was the main reason behind it. Hopefully a little bit in it early, and yeah, then we can chase it down a bit later.
And there is a bit of grass on it. What do you
So
that obviously would have come into the decision a little bit?
Yeah, it's still pretty hard though. I think it'll play fine. So yeah, not too fast. I think it'll be pretty even both sides, but yeah, should be good.
And both teams very excited about the opportunity to play at the SCG?
I think so, yeah. I know when it sort of got moved to North Sydney and then back again, a few of the boys are disappointed that they wouldn't get to play here. So yeah, thanks to Cricket New South Wales for making a time to get us on here, I suppose. So yeah.
Well, Ethan, thanks so much for your time, and all the best.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers,
Thank
mate.
you.
And now we'll have a quick word to the Central West captain, Jamil Qureshi. Oh, got that right, thankfully. And mate, what was you happy that you're batting first?
We probably would have bowled first, just a little bit of green there. But look, I think it's pretty hard, so it's probably a good toss to lose. So yeah, I think it'll play fine. It'll be pretty even for both teams. So I don't think too much is going to change. I think it's going to be a bit overcast all day, so should be good.
And heading into this final confident, of course, you finished the normal preliminary rounds back in October, so the team gets back together for this finals day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we weren't playing a fair bit of cricket against each other and with each other, so yeah, looking forward to it. What an opportunity, so should be good. Really, really excited, so it'll be good. So.
Well, Jamil, thanks so much for your time, and all the best.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate. All right, so ACT have won the toss in this Thunder Conference Final, and they will bowl first against the Central West Wranglers. Of course, after this match, we have the Sixers Conference Final between the Central Coast Rush and the Coffs Coast Chargers, and they'll be captained by the Gallatin brothers, Peter and Richie Gallatin. So, big day of cricket ahead. Of course, the final this evening here at the SCG. So, 3 games ahead, and the first one between ACT and Central West. We will start play at 10 o'clock. And it is 10 o'clock. It's a coincidence that. And welcome to the SCG. You're joined by David Gavin, that's myself. I've got Robbie McKinlay next to me, and the expert comments of Matt Taberner. We will get straight into the action. It is ACT bowling. Michael Ninneman with the ball in hand. Looks like a right arm quick. And to take strike, it is Ben Sheehan for the ACT, the Central West Wranglers, ACT with the ball. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning, David. Good morning, Matthew. And yeah, really looking forward to this. Not surprised they made that decision to have a bowl first. There is a little bit of green there, but if there's going to be any swing, it'll happen early.
So our umpires out there today are Gary Crombie and John Pearce. And Ninneman, in he comes to Sheehan on the front foot, a thick outside edge. It flays away down towards third man, and the Central West are away.
Yeah, it's. I know the boys are very excited here from the Central West. Their first experience of the SCG, and actually before this season, they've never won a game in the Plan B Regional Bash. So I know they're very excited. They've been looking forward to this day, and I think they'll put on a show. They go pretty hard with the bat in the preliminary round, scoring 166 and 176 off their 20 overs. So I think there'll be plenty of stroke play early on today.
And that brings Nick Brose onto strike. Of course, he started one of the matches, 85 not out and a 5 for as well. So he was in good form back in October. Let's see how he's hitting them at the moment. Ninneman into Brose, and it's well wide of the off stump, and Brose is letting that one go. Yes, 4 new finalists here today. We've got 2 new finalists in the Thunder Conference Final with the Aces and the Wranglers. And then, of course, later today, this afternoon, it will be the Rush against the Chargers.
Yeah,
So,
I think
Matt-
they're all pretty happy that the match was able to be played here at the SCG, and we do thank the SCG Trust and Cricket New South Wales, and wonderful effort to be able to achieve that.
It's a big moment, isn't it, for all these boys on the hallowed turf of the SCG. Ninneman into Bros. That's again well wide the off stump. I wouldn't be surprised if that's called a wide. It is.
Yeah, he's good background, Ninneman. He's part of the ACT New South Wales Country Comet squad. He's taken 11 wickets in T20 cricket this season, but he can bat a bit too, Dave. He can really give the ball a bit of a tap. So good all-rounder from Ginninderra Club, who are having an excellent season.
Okay.
And there is a little bit of swing there early, which is good signs.
Yes, overcast conditions here at the SCG on a warm Tuesday in Sydney. In comes Ninneman to Bros. He's having a go at that one, but again, it's well wide of off stump.
Yeah, I think the Central West team will be looking for these two to give them a good start. In both their games, they started off really well, and against Arana in their first game, these two put on 101 for the opening wicket. So I think if these guys can get the Central West off to a great start, it makes the middle order a lot easier, and there's some big hitters in that middle order with Josh Doherty and Ben Mitchell in there. So I think they'll be looking for these two to set a platform.
Big performance against Arana as well. They were last year's finalists, so they were in good form back in October. Ninneman again, well wide of off stump. That's driven firmly square of the wicket by Bros. A slight misfield, concedes a single, but it was a good piece of fielding to stop it from...
He had a bit on it, didn't it?
Yeah, reaching that boundary rope.
It blasted through the hands of Scotty Mearn there, but only one run, and it's been a good start so far from Ninneman, just the 3 runs. So, yeah, it's just but good, encouraging signs there. A little bit of movement.
He's pitching it up, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
looking for that bit of swing you were speaking about, Robbie. So in he comes again, number 6 for the ACT. This time to Sheehan on the front foot and working that down the ground. There's a slight misfield. Concede a single. So that will be 4 off the over, 3 singles and a wide. And we are underway here at the SCG for a big day of country cricket. The Plan B Regional Bash Finals. We thank Plan B. Well, no, on one short.
Oh, we had a wide, didn't we?
Yes, we
Yep.
did. So the maths has already gone awry. So Ninneman to finish off here. He'll be bowling to Bros. And Bros on the back foot, just working that nicely down towards deep gully. Not quite third man. And 5 off the over.
Yeah, good start by the ACT Aces. Ninneman, they're just the 1 wide there, but generally kept the ball pretty full. And I think there's probably, Matty, there's a little bit of trepidation from the Wranglers batsmen early. Not sure what's going to happen in the wicket here, but they looked okay themselves.
Yeah, I think they've got, with the 6 overs and the power play, I think they've got a couple of overs just to assess the conditions. The outfield looks absolutely brilliant. So I think once the ball goes through the gap, there's going to be plenty of runs on offer. So, yeah, I think a nice cautious start, first couple of overs, then I think you'll see them open up the shoulders a little bit. With Nick last year too, made his Western Zone Opens debut this year up in the Country Champs and went pretty well. But also a century last year in the Colts Carnival.
So from the Randwick end of the ground, it looks as though it will be Ollie Annabelle to open the attack from that end for ACT.
We'll have to call him the cannibal, won't we? Young Ollie. So it's good play. Played on the 19 State Challenge this season and had a couple of injuries, but he's got them sorted out at the moment, and he does swing the ball, Dave.
Left armers normally do, don't they? He's got a knack of swinging that ball. In comes Annabelle over the wicket to Bros on the back foot. He just nurses that backward of point. Thought there might have been a appeal for a run out there.
Yeah, a bit excited there.
I think we can see here these two batsmen have batted together quite a lot, taking some very good quick singles there. Their calling seems to be on, and I think that's an experience of playing together, and especially in the Bonner Cup competition back in the Central West under lights 2020 week in, week out. So I think the running between wickets will be a highlight of today's Central West innings.
So they're certainly familiar with each other. Sheehan and Bros. Animal comes in again for his second delivery and on the back foot trying to pull that one, and I think it might have struck him on the helmet. There's a little bit of I think it's the pad that's just behind the ear that's fallen off, so hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, just something that indicated might have got him on the side of the grill there. It did get onto him a little bit quicker than he thought. I think that the ball from young Ollie was a lot quicker than that first one, so Look at that. That's got on him a lot quicker than he thought.
Yep, hitting him in the grill. Might have hit him in the chest before it bounced up into the grill. So that one's just possibly roughed him up a little bit. But this time it's a little lower into the hip area, and he just turns that around the corner for a single. So, Annabelle, a fast start.
Yeah, definitely skids them on a bit quick. And David, we did. Matt and I had a chance to have a look at that wicket earlier on, and even there's a bit of green tinge there, but it is very hard, rock hard wicket. So I think it's just perfect for what we're ahead of a long day of cricket.
Could be a new ball wicket.
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
with this pink ball. Just to get the most out of it, whilst it's got that sheen. Annabelle over the wicket to Bros this time, driving, finds the gap but doesn't time it. Should pick up a couple. I think there was two there, but not quite that keen on taking the second run was Sheehan.
Yeah, an easy two there. I thought, Matthew.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think, yeah, they probably should have turned it out to two, and I think that's the key in T20, isn't it? Is getting the ones into twos and twos into threes. So I think might be a little bit of nerves there early, but hopefully they learn into that.
So that big partnership against Iran and Matt, did they start slowly like this and just build into their innings?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they took their time early, but once they got going, they just couldn't be stopped.
Annabelle into Sheehan on the back foot, just whips that off the hip.
Yeah, it's an interesting way he plays that shot. I think he's really looking for that one that's going to line it up and hit it through mid-wicket. Matt, I reckon he might have a bit of a fancy through there.
Had the leg cleared, didn't he?
Yeah,
yes.
I think he's just waiting it to be in his little area there, and once it's in that area, I think he's going to launch. I think a little bit of nerves just on show here early, which is understandable when you get to play at a ground like this. So I've no doubt they'll start opening up very soon.
So the tall, lanky figure of Ollie Annabelle, and he comes to Bros on the back foot. He's cutting. I think that might be out, is it? No. I thought I might have heard something
Bit
there.
of a noise there, wasn't there?
But false alarm. So the second over has been completed. And Central West, after being asked to bat first, are none for 9. Run rate of 4.5.
Yeah, just the 4 off that over from Ollie Annabelle. I was very impressed with it. He, first ball, it was a real genuine loose and not too much pace on it, but it wasn't long after that he was able to really get one through and quickly clipped Bros. But at the moment, it's been a pretty good start. Nice and steady.
And it will be Ninneman to continue from the Paddington end of the ground. And I'm sure most of the players out there in the middle at the moment are just pinching themselves that they're out in the middle of the SCG, driven down the ground by Sheehan and fielded by mid-on.
He certainly doesn't. He really does look to open up that front leg, even on the balls are full there. And you'd imagine if Ninneman was able to get one just to go away a little bit here, that keeper and slip might come into play there, Matthew.
Yeah, I think you're right there, but looking at the first couple of overs, doesn't seem to be a lot off the pitch. It seems to be a good bounce going straight through, but a little bit in the air like you mentioned earlier, Robbie, so I think they can just play through the line here a bit.
So one off that first delivery. Ninneman over the wicket to Bros. He's mistimed a pull shot. It's been caught at short mid-wicket, and the first wicket falls, so that will make Captain Ethan Bartlett happy. And the fielder is Tim Flores, and I'll hazard a guess he's a member of the famous Flores family. Of course, Jason played for Queensland. And a fine catch. He had to make a little bit of ground, and it sort of popped up and bobbled that particular ball off the bat of Bros. It's a big wicket. Bros performed really well against Orana, as we mentioned, back in October during the preliminary rounds. 85 not out. And that's a really fine catch by Tim Flores.
He completely mistimed that, didn't he? And got very high in the bat. And in the end, yeah, Flores did well, because Flores' initial reaction would have been to get on the back foot with a bit more power coming at him, but he was able to dive forward, and he took a comfortable catch, Matty.
Yeah, very good catch. Yeah, he took it pretty easy, but it's good to see Ben Mitchell coming to the middle now, and he is electric when he gets going. Against Illawarra, he's hit 81 off 46 balls, and he got 97 on Sunday in a representative match back home against Orange. So if he gets going, it's going to be dynamite out here, and he loves cow corner. He loves deep mid-wicket down to straight mid-on. Member of the under-17s ACT New South Wales country team that won the national champ, so it'll be good to watch here.
Very strong side. In comes Ninneman to the new batsman, and he has, well, turned him round and spoken a different language to the one that unfortunately Mitchell understands in terms of that delivery. That was an absolute jaffer, as Robbie mentioned.
I think if you're hitting those ones, you're in pretty good form. That's not a bad one to get first up.
Matt, I see Mitchell, I thought he might have batted lower in the order, but are they sticking with the right and left-handed combination early on? Would that be a tactic of the Wranglers?
I think so, yeah, and I think he's in such in great form. Like, even in the Bonner Cup, he got 50 off about 20 rocks a couple of weeks ago, so I think he's in great form. You might as well get him out there.
Ninneman into the new batsman, Mitchell. It was a short-arm jab out through point, and there was a shy at the stumps. It was perhaps a little closer than the batsman first.
I think that hasn't missed by much at all there, David. As we'll get a good look at it here.
Nice throw.
Oh, that was close.
Yeah, he was out, I think.
Yeah.
If that hit the pegs, he was out. So 1 for 11 here, Central West. Big wicket of Nick Brose this over. Attempted pull shot, caught at short mid-wicket. That single, though, brings Sheehan onto strike. In comes Ninneman. Into Sheehan. That's well wide of off stump. And he's fortunate to get away with that one, you would think.
It's a nice carry in that wicket, isn't it?
Oh, plenty of bounce. That would have went through chest height, even shoulder height. So, yeah, it's a great wicket. The groundsmen here have done a great job. The outfield looks brilliant. So well done to the SCG groundsman here. Should be a great day of cricket because of it.
Dave, I'm interested to find a bit more about this Bonner Cup that Matty's been talking about. I'll get a bit of the history behind that.
I certainly will. Ninneman over the wicket. Again to Sheehan. That's better. It's just, again, whipped around the corner. Doesn't really lean on that back foot. He just clears the front leg, waits for it, and tries to play the pull shot Greg Blewett style, but no run on that occasion. And the end of the third over, and it's 1 for 11.
Yeah, good start from the Aces. Just 3 overs down. They picked up the early wicket. And already I'd say they've vindicated their decision to send the Wranglers in. Matty, but the Bonner Cup, what's the history behind it?
Yeah, it's the Bonner Cup's a competition run by the Orange Cricket Association. Night 2020 comp at Wade Park, so they play under lights. Got teams from Lithgow, Orange, Bathurst playing. So nearly everyone here from the Central West playing that with their club side, and it's good camaraderie to it. And last weekend too, the Mitchell Council put on a 2020 weekend where these guys played. So plenty of match practice in the 2020 format for this team. So they're battle hardened. But yeah, it's a great competition, marquee plays and everything like that, and under lights is great.
Annable to continue from the Randwick end into the new batsman Mitchell.
Yeah, and I think what it does, it allows a bit of variety in the club competition. You get to play against different teams from different towns, and just get a friendly rivalry going. Anytime you get to play cricket under lights with a white ball in coloured clothing, I think it's a winner for country cricket and cricket in general. So, yeah, you'll be a lot of mention of that throughout this game here with the Central West.
Matt, did they use the pink balls in that Bonner Cup as a prelude to the Plan B?
No, they haven't, but they did use it in the rep competition they played last weekend. So they've used the pink ball there.
Annable to Mitchell on the front foot, and he gives that everything and finds the gap out through the covers. It should reach the boundary rope for the first boundary of this Thunder Conference final. And Mitchell is away with a lavish drive out through the covers.
It was a lovely shot, wasn't it? He waited for it, hit it under his eyes, and more importantly, hit the gap. And looks like the outfield's going to run pretty quick here, Matt. That was you spoke a lot about young Ben Mitchell, and we got a real hint of it there that he's a class player.
Yeah, he hits the ball really hard, and like I mentioned, 81 off 46, but that had 6 sixes and 6 fours in that innings, so he likes hitting the boundary, but we'll probably look to rotate the strike around, so I think that's a positive move by Central West by putting him in at number 3.
Annable on the runway again, into Mitchell. He tries the same stroke, but it's fuller this time. The keeper lost sight of it for a minute there, but he did well.
Matt, I couldn't believe we said before this that the Wranglers had not won a game in the 3 previous seasons of the Plan B Regional Bash.
Yeah, that's it's surprising, and I think the big difference this year is it's been really good player driven. Like, they've got some really good support staff off the field that's really helping them out, but the players have really driven this competition now to encourage each other to play and to lift and get better. So I think any time the team takes ownership is a great good thing for a team.
I've got a question about the St Pat's Old Boys in a minute. And this one's short and well pulled, but I expected to go out to the leg side, but ended up in the offside, fielded by cover. Looked like a Q end. I'm not sure what happened there.
Gee, that old bat's got some cherries on it, hasn't it? A bit of tape.
Looks like a favourite, doesn't it?
Oh, it's one of his old faves, there's no doubt about it.
So, Matt, we've got 5 of the Central West Wranglers from St Pat's Old Boys. Can you tell us a little bit more about that club?
Yeah, they're a club in Bathurst. Lost the grand final in Bathurst last year to Rugby Union.
Come back to that point. Annabelle continues over the wicket to Mitchell on the back foot. Again, tries to pull that out through mid-wicket. Doesn't time it. Scurries through for a single. Moves to 5. Pardon me, 8. No, 6. We'll get there in the end. Sheehan's on 5, not out. And the score is 1 for 16.
Yeah, so with the St Pat's team, well, there's 5 of them here, but 4 of them are actually in the Western Zone Colts team, under 19s team. So it's a very young club. And Adam Ryan, who's the captain and also in part of this team, has done a great job to mix the youth and experience together. And they've got a great future, St Pat's, in the Bathurst competition, if they can keep hold of those players.
Annabelle to Sheehan this time, and he tries to pull that with everything. Plus the kitchen sink out into the onside, but he doesn't connect.
So that finished 4 overs down at 1 for 16, and the Aces bowling has been super impressive so far. They really haven't given them a lot to hit. Mitchell did get one away through the covers early in that over, but apart from that, Matty, the bowling's been outstanding.
Yeah, they're mixing up their lengths really well, but they haven't given much width. They've kept it in nice and tight. That pull shot that Nick got out, probably a little bit too close to the body to pull, and couldn't get a hold of it, and that's why I got caught into short mid-wicket. But apart from that one wide, they've been very full, very at the body, mixing the lengths really well. They're bowling really well, which has made it very tough for the Central West batsmen to get away.
Now Ethan Bartlett, the captain, coming into the attack. I recognise that face because I only saw it about half an hour ago, and he's a big, strong man, isn't he?
Well, he's a Wagga boy originally, and I probably is good a cricketer in the ACT comp at the moment. I do remember him from previous years making a century against the Border Bullets at Robinson over in Wagga. One of the best T20 innings I've seen.
And he comes over the wicket to Mitchell. Mitchell cleared that front leg. It went airborne for a while and just past the outstretched hand of mid-off. That was SM Rahman there at mid-off. Almost took a screamer.
It's a pretty good effort, wasn't it? Just look at the replay here, and Rahman, he did really well here. He gets out just
got a hand to it too.
I reckon he's safe 4, Dave.
He did. I think you're right there, Robbie.
But good to see that Central West ran 2 there, so it looks like they're going to start upping the ante between the wickets as well.
Bartlett, he ambles in to Mitchell, just drops it out to the offside, out towards point, picks up an easy single.
Yeah, good cricket. So Ethan Bartlett, he's an all-rounder. He is as good with the bat as he is with the ball. Probably doesn't bowl as quick as he once did, but a dynamic batsman. Dave, you'll probably open the batting or bat at first drop, and he monsters the ball. He is one of the most exciting players in this Plan B Regional Bash.
So that brings...
I know our good friend Luke Olsen from Wagga is filthy. He's not playing with the Sloggers.
Brings Sheen on to strike, and he's bunting that down the ground, and Rahman's in the action again. Fields mid-on.
The Aces won the Carnival to qualify for the SCG late last year in Wagga. They defeated all 3 sides, the Murrumbidgee Rangers, which are from that Griffith-Leeton area, the Border Bullets down on the border around Albury, and of course the Wagga Sloggers, who have been here the 2 previous years.
They have 2 points away, so it was that final match against the ACT Aces that cost them in the end. That one was another, well, it's a pretty ambitious shot, wasn't it? Just outside off stump, but fortunately for him, he didn't connect.
Yeah, he hasn't really shown at the moment, just 5 off 11 balls, and I think he does like to take it on, and it's probably a disappointing result so far.
Bartlett, and he comes again to Sheehan. He gives himself a bit of room, and Bartlett bowled that well wide of off stump. Saw him shuffle across to the onside and said, I'll put it a little further away from you.
think he needs to work through this, Ben. It looks like he's getting a bit frustrated out there. He wants to get the up the ante a bit, but just can't connect at the moment. So he just needs to keep his cool a little bit here.
Bartlett continues this great start by the ACT Aces, short of a length, and again Sheehan tries to cut backward a point and doesn't connect. So a very tidy start there by Ethan Bartlett, just the 3 off it.
Just his length there, wasn't he? Did not give the batsman any room to move, and I think that's why the second last ball that over, Sheehan stepped away. He was trying to create a bit of space for himself, but Bartlett's such a clever operator, and he's just bowling that, getting the ball carrying over top of off stump, top of 4th stump. It's a great start by Ethan Bartlett. It looks like Jack Allen might be the new bowler, Matty.
From Queanbeyan. Jack Allen.
Oh, sorry, Scotty Mearn it is indeed. In fact, it's Scotty Mearn, so he's from the ANU.
Just been tackled by that dummy, but that's all right. That's all good.
Little cutout pass for Dave.
All right, Scotty Mearn, Australian National Uni. So, student of the ANU down in Canberra. Looks as though he's a medium pacer. So, medium pace and pace used throughout the power play for the ACT. And it's been a tidy start. They picked up the vital wicket of Nick Brose. Big hitting Nick Brose. That's 1 for 19 after 5.
He's another one of these very good all-rounders in the ACT Aces side. Mooney has already scored 500 runs this year. He got his maiden first grade century too as well this year, Dave. So he's in good nick.
In he comes. Mearn to Mitchell. Just tucks that off his pads into the onside, and he'll pick up a very handy 2.
I think it's a big over in this game here. Last over the power play. I think at Central West we're looking to probably try and get to 10 to this over, 10 off the over. I think ACT, if they can restrict them to 25, 26 after the power play, I think they'll be very happy.
In comes Mearn. Into... It's bowled! Oh. Well, that has cleaned up his leg stump, Ben Mitchell. And another big wicket for the ACT. It's 2 for 21. What a Yorker that was.
Have a look at leg stump here. The boys on Bar TV have just picked it up beautifully. Leg stump, cartwheeling, topples over a couple of times. And that is a pretty comprehensive end to Benny Mitchell's innings. That was a wonderful Yorker. Almost perfect. And it's second wicket falls inside the power play. The Wranglers in a bit of early trouble here, Matthew.
Yeah, I think that ball sums up ACT's bowling in the first 6 overs. It's at the body, at the stumps, different lengths, and I think that just summed it up to it, how they've been bowling. But yeah, Central West in a bit of trouble early on. Matt Corbin now coming to the crease, coming off 170 in Saturday first grade cricket in Orange, 96 the week prior, so in some great form. Central West will be looking for him to anchor the innings. He'll want to be batting the 20th over. That's his role in this team. 45 not out against Illawarra Flames in the round robin matches. So yeah, he's the anchor to this team.
Well, they're going to need him, aren't they, David? It's they probably really don't need to lose another wicket for a good period of time here. But even if they just go up 4 or 5 and over, they've got to consolidate. But
we've just got to bear in mind as well as it being exciting for a lot of these guys out there in the middle, it'd be a bit nerve-wracking as well.
Yeah.
Especially coming in at 2 for 21. There's not a lot of people here on a weekday, but still it's the ambience of the place. You're at the SCG, you're in the centre, you're in a final. To possibly qualify for the Plan B Regional Bash final, grand final tonight.
Dave, I reckon I would throw a slip in at this period of time here. I'm surprised Mearn hasn't got one in.
I would too. Mearn over the wicket to the new batsman Corbin, well wide of the off stump.
That one looked like it might have shaped away a little bit too. So
yeah, I think I'd have a slip in there. If you can get 3 or 4 wickets in the power play, I think you'll win most games you play in. I think Central West will probably be now looking for that 120, 130 score when you're 2 for 20 after 6. And I think if you can get that, you're in the game. So I think that's what they should be concentrating on at the moment.
In he comes, Mearn to Corbin. Corbin plays with a thick outside edge, but just opened the face of the blade. And again, it was Yorker length, but he worked it out through point. Picks up a couple, so he's away. 2 from 2 deliveries faced.
Yeah, good running. Got a strong arm, the young fella down into the boundary line. But young Eason Rahman, but it went well over the keeper's head. But just might be a little bit of intel there for later on.
Mern over the wicket to Corbin again on the front foot, and he's shouldering arms to a ball that's well wide of off stump.
Bit of Richie Beno flavour early in the day, lads. The score there, 2 for 22.
Yes.
Always, because the Richies made their appearance at the ACT test, Monica, on day 2, as it's become tradition right across all the matches in Australia. I wonder when they'll make the appearance at the Plan B Regional Bash.
You wouldn't rule it out. Just build some momentum in coming years. In comes Mern to Corbin. Again, opens the face of the blade to a short of a length delivery and works it down towards third man for a single. So 4 off the over and a wicket, more importantly. 2 for 23 after the power play Central West. And if you are just joining our coverage, you might be getting a sneaky look during a morning tea break at work. Well, ACT won the toss and elected to bowl, and so far so good for captain Ethan Bartlett. And we're now joined by Gary Birkinshaw.
No, Marty Garoni.
Marty Garoni, I apologise.
That's all right.
So, expert comments of Marty Garoni as well as Matt Taberner. And Marty, how are you this morning?
Yeah, very good. It's very exciting. Great to see 4 new teams here at the Plan B Regional Bash this year. It's a really exciting time for all the players, and I would say the ACT Aces would be very, very happy with the start they've got in the power play. And you know, if you can get a couple of wickets and keep them under, well, most teams sort of aim for 40 to 50 off the power play. So, very good start from them.
Bartlett to continue from the Paddington end, and he's coming into Corbin, who's just working that again out through point, backward point. Can't find the gap on that occasion. So, Corbin at the crease. Sheehan 5 not out, and Matt, as you were mentioning, he looked to be getting a little bit frustrated. The last over that Ethan Bartlett bowled, but this time it is Corbin who's playing an uppish cut shot that stayed in the air for a long time down towards third man, but just falls safely short of the man that's positioned down there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Ben goes. He hasn't had much strike in the last couple of overs. Of course, we had that wicket in the last over, and Matt's played most of the ball since then. So I think Ben will be interesting to see how he plays the rest of this over out.
Bartlett into Sheehan and tries to hit that on the onside and only gets a top edge down towards third man. So he'll pick up a single, but unfortunately just doesn't seem to be finding the middle of the bat at the moment.
I think once he can hit that boundary, it might settle him down a bit. But yeah, that it was a bit of a big hit there, trying to get it away. And I think the frustration's starting to build with him. So hopefully he can just knuckle down here and get through this over.
It was a whoosh. They came back for a second. Bartlett into Sheehan again. He's got all of that, and that's the first 6 of today's play. That was right into his hitting zone, and that one came out of the middle of the bat.
Yeah, I think that's what he's been looking for. It looks like in that area, like just short of a length there. Just gave him that bit of width too, and he's been able to put that over deep square leg there. That's a great shot by Ben.
Beautifully picked up and put over deep backward square leg. That was a great shot.
Bartlett into Sheehan, and he tries it again, but he's only mistimed it and popped it up straight to the man at mid-wicket. Get that confirmed who the fielder was, but the third wicket has fallen. And 3 for 32 now.
Yeah, it looks like Geordie Missick might have taken that one.
Very simple catch there at mid-wicket, just popped it up. I think maybe that going for the boundary and then going for another boundary, I think the key is for the Wranglers at the moment is that they need to be scoring off every ball, and I think at the moment it's either big or nothing. And I think they really need to start working the ball around. If they get a boundary, get a single off the next ball and keep rotating the strike a little bit, because too many balls have been bowled at one batter and they're being tied down.
And they're trying to go airborne a lot too.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like they're trying to hit it very hard along the ground. It's the big hit is trying to go over the infield. The power play is finished now, so a few extra fielders outside the circle. So they might have to maybe just adjust the tactic in terms of maybe trying to hit it as hard as they can along the ground and pierce the field that way.
There's lots of twos out there. It's a big ground here at the SCG, and there's lots of gaps. And if you can hit a gap, you're bound to get 2, and oftentimes you'll get 4. So they just need to be a little bit more conservative around the way they go about it, probably for the next 5 or 6 overs, and then they can put the foot down again at the back end.
So Bartlett continues to the new batsman who's just prodding out to the point region and picks up an easy single. And it was Corbin actually because they crossed.
Yeah, Adam Ryan's come in now, the captain of the St Pat's team back in Bathurst we talked about a little bit earlier. So, yeah, two experienced heads out here. Both these guys captain their club side at home. So they'll be experienced, know how to play the game, are really smart operators. And noticing that over, ACT only had one extra fielder out on the leg side. So there's still plenty of gaps if you can get it through, especially through that offside. So, yeah, just a bit of smart batting for the next 4 or 5 overs, just to get them back in the game.
Got Jack Allen coming on now, changing the bowling.
Just the one over for Scott Mearn.
Pretty handy over.
It
so
was.
Probably saving him up for the back end of the innings, I would suggest. It'd be pretty tough to be taken off after an over like that. But I think spin for the first time, and especially now that we're outside the power play, it's going to be important that they get through a few overs quickly. And I think their plan of attack will be to rattle through a few overs, really put the Wranglers under a bit of pressure, and make sure that they, get into the 15th over without too much damage, and then try and close it out with their opening bowlers again.
So young Jack Allen, leg spinner. He'll be bowling to Matt Corbin, new to the crease. It's been an excellent start by the ACT Aces. 3-4-33, the Wranglers. Corbin, Ryan, both experienced men at the crease. Corbin 4 from 7. Here comes Allen for his first delivery from the Ramwick end. He gives it plenty of air and it's driven out to the offside, but fielded by Flores.
Yeah, a lot of hitting to the field here from Central West through this inning so far. Just need to try and find those gaps, get it through those gaps, take those singles and twos just to build a partnership.
Allen. Comes. Got quite a rhythmic action, and this is driven down the ground. This time the gap is found, but there's a man back there at long off. So single to the score, 3 for 34.
I think for the ACT Aces, dot balls and one-run balls are wins for them at the moment. So that's what they'll be concentrating on over the next sort of 5 to 6 overs, and hopefully picking up the odd wicket here and there.
Allen. The new batsman Brian, he gets off the mark with a tidy little flick.
Nice shot.
It was a full toss, but he put it away nicely out through the onside, and he'll pick up a couple.
Yeah, that's Adam's game. He'll look to hit those gaps really well, run well between wickets, and Matt Corbin's a very good runner between the wickets. So I think this is what their game plan is going to be for the next 5 overs.
Allen into Ryan. Didn't quite pick it, did he?
No, he was backing away to give himself a bit of room, and it chased him. Well bowled.
It's been a good start too by Allen. Hasn't been afraid to give it some air. In he comes again. This is shorter and on the back foot. New batsman Ryan trying to pull that away. Backward of square leg. Doesn't connect.
Missed out there. I think he didn't need to get much bat on that, and that would have been 4.
No, there's only a deep wicket out there, a short fine leg, and I missed a boundary there.
Allen to Ryan again, and this time he just plays that one from the crease. Open face blade, backward of point. Very tidy start. After 3 runs from the first 3 deliveries, Allen has bowled 1 over, none for 3. It's 3 for 36, and ACT well on top after they won the toss and elected to bowl in this Thunder Conference final of the Plan B Regional Bash. And we'd like to acknowledge our sponsors, Plan B. Remember, if you're out and about today, maybe you're still on holidays, you've got an extra couple of weeks off from work, and you're enjoying a drink out there, make sure you have that Plan B in place. Whether it's at a friend's place or give the keys to someone else, make sure you've got that Plan B in place. So it looks as though there will be a change in the bowling from the Paddington end. Ethan Bartlett being replaced by Rahman. SM Rahman from the North Canberra Gungahlin Club. ACT.
Yeah, looking at this field, looks like he's going to probably bowl a bit short of a length here. They've got all their fielders on the boundary out the back behind square there, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to put this into the pitch, see if there's anything in the pitch, and just take the singles square of the wicket.
And he comes with his right arm medium pace, he pitches it up there, and it's nicely driven square of the wicket by Corbin, and just cut off before the boundary rope by the fielder out in the deep there. Reece Healy.
Very good fielder, Reece. Good AFL football as well. He's made a lot of runs in the ACT competition this year as well. So double 100 in their 2-day comp. Very, very impressive young batsman, but a very, very good fielder.
Rahman in again over the wicket to Corbin. Just tries Tries to nurdle that backward of square, but doesn't get any bat on it. And Healy also made quite a few runs during the pool rounds in October. 133, I think it was.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's been in really good form in all formats, and plays for the Ginninderra club, and they're going quite well this season. You know, they're a club on the rise, which is really good for the competition down there.
Rahman over the wicket, again to Corbin, and he plays that nice. Just waited to the last minute and just opened the face of the blade, played it down to third man, picks up his single, 3 off the over so far.
Bowling really well to their field. You know, he's pitching it up. We thought maybe he was going to bang it in, but he's really just giving it bowling wide of the off stump. He's got good protection out deep on the offside, and bowling really well. And he's just changed the field up now, so it looks like he's dropped his mid off and mid on down, and he's going to obviously try and bowl a bit fuller and hopefully encourage them to drive straight.
So Adam Ryan on strike. Rahman to continue over the wicket, and that's a good ball. It's pitched on middle and off stump, but it was an ambitious single. And he only just got home. I think he gave up probably about halfway there, Adam.
Yeah, direct hit, and he was long gone then. That was a great piece of fielding and a pretty risky run. He didn't hit it anywhere near as well as he thought, I think.
Yeah, I think he thought he got it past that fielder, but great fielding again. I think it's the skipper there, and yeah, that was out by a quarter of the pitch, I think.
Rahman into Corbin, and there's an appeal for caught behind, and it's out. So he just tried that shot once too often, trying to glide it down towards third man, and Matt Corbin departs for 8. It's 4 for 40. ACT well on top.
Yeah, Central West just can't get that partnership to get him going. It's great bowling by ACT again, close to the body, not giving any width away, setting the fields to it, and just a feather through the keeper. Good take there by the keeper, and again, just can't build that partnership as Central West, which is starting to cause them a few issues at 4 for 40 in the 9th over.
Really good catch by the keeper.
Josh Watling, wicket keeper. Yeah, very, very tidy catch. He's been really tidy behind the stumps too for the whole game, which is good. And I think the key is that they've bowled so well to their field, but also the Wranglers have been a bit tentative because they've just bowled that back of a length, and they're getting it to move through the air a little bit. And it's been really difficult, probably a little bit difficult batting. It'll be interesting to see how the Aces go when they get out there, but the bowling so far has been first class.
And that sees the captain of the Wranglers stride to the crease, Jamil Qureshi. Even though he lost the toss earlier this morning, he did look confident. And he said that the boys are excited about playing here at the SCG. And he's got the wide floppy on. Adjustments in the field. So Rahman has a wicket to his name. In he comes to the left-hander, Qureshi. And the skipper just flicks that off his pads. Should pick up a couple out through square leg. So he's off the mark. This is an important partnership.
Yeah, and again, Jamil, plenty of experience, has played some Sydney Premier cricket with the Hawkesbury Club. Captain of the Bathurst rep team as well. So a lot of experience here, especially learning through the grade system here in Sydney. And he's an accountant by trade. So it's good that he's been able to get away from the desk and the books and the numbers for today. And he's probably looking for some higher numbers at the cricket ground instead of the books. So hopefully he can do that, especially for a Central West fan.
I think he'll want more in the debits column than the credits column. In comes Allen to Ryan, who's still at the crease. Trying to drive that down the ground, didn't quite time it. No run.
Good start to the over. It's really important in T20 cricket that you get in and out of your over as a bowler, and you want to get in with a single or a dot ball first ball, and then really be able to build a bit of pressure throughout the over. So again, good start again from Allen.
Full ball on the toes of Ryan, and he just works that down the ground for a couple.
Good running that time from the Wranglers. That was really good work.
Yeah, I think you can see the experience there, Jamil. He knows that those ones are now going to come into 2. So I think you'll see Jamil especially will be pushing Adam through the wicket, try and get those extra runs. They're not quite hitting the boundary at the moment, but those 2s can help out.
Allen into Ryan, tries to play it off the back foot, and it appeared to stay low on him. Piece of keeping there again by Watling. Seems to be a good name for keepers around the world. New Zealand keeper, BJ Watling. This one, leave that front leg, Ryan. Another full delivery and trying to give that everything out to the onside. Well filled at square leg. Keeps it to a single.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Like I said before, I think 120, 130 should be the target now for Central West as a minimum. If they can work towards that, and I think they can do that through the running between wickets. If they can get a couple of big overs, it might change it. But I think it's important they try and get 6 and over by the end of the innings, just to put some pressure on the ACT batting.
Yeah, I think they're going to need a minimum of sort of 120. If they could push it up to 140, that'd be great. But minimum 120 to really at least keep them in the game into the second innings.
Koresh drives that full delivery out through extra cover, picks up a single.
And again, another really good adjustment in the field there from Ethan Bartlett. There was a bigger gap out through the covers there previously, and he closed that down, and Reece Healy did a really good job in keeping that to a single then.
In comes Allen again to Ryan, trying to work that. I don't think he quite got it off the middle. It might have hit the pad, but Watling just having a bit of trouble keeping his footing on the wicket square.
It's always about someone falling over on a cricket field that gets a bit of laughter from for everyone. It looks like they're having a bit of fun as well. It's probably batsman getting hit in a certain area that
cruel. The Bar TV production crew are cruel, aren't they? A replay of that. 4 for 47 after 10. They'll hand the reins to Robbie McKinlay.
So that was another really good over there from Allen, and the ACT Aces are really staying right on top here. They're keeping the pressure well on, and they're making it really, really difficult for the Wranglers to get away to any sort of a big over, which is really to their credit.
So Rahman resumes, and he bowls outside the stump, and Ryan just hits it back to short cover. Also, Marty, we've got another special guest joining us in the commentary team. Introduce this fine young man.
Mr. Gary Birkingshaw, a Lockhart original.
Good Riverina lad.
Good Riverina lad. There's 3 of us here on the commentary, which is a bit of a worry. But I'm not sure what Cricket New South Wales were thinking when they organised this. But anyway, it's really great to see some people from around the state getting involved. Gary's currently on the Central Coast. He's our conference administrator on the Central Coast, and he'll be looking forward to the next game, absolutely, where obviously they'll lose to the Coffs Coast Chargers because that's my region, but he'll be looking forward to that game when it comes up. But this is a fascinating spectacle right here at the moment.
As Rahman bowls again, and he's very straight again, and it's hit back by Ryan to deep mid-off. They thought about 2, but no chance of that. So, and just a single, so the score ticks along to 4 for 48, and we're halfway through the 11th over. Berkey.
Yeah, look, it's a real struggle when you lose the early wickets, being able to put together a really big score. You've really got to consolidate now and try and get through to 15 over with probably the loss of no further wickets, so you can make a bit of a run at it for the last 5 overs.
So Rahman again, and he's bowling to the skipper, Qureshi, who just tickles it around the corner. Might have got a bit of pad on that. It'll just be the single, and he too slips over at the non-striker's end. So, not sure if a lot of the spikes are real long at the moment, Marty, from a few of these lads, but
probably coming from playing on the hard concrete type wickets out around the western region. There's a fair bit of grass on the wicket out there. They probably needed to go for the longer spikes, as you tend to do here at the SCG. But yeah, a bit of slipping and sliding from a few of the players out there.
So Ryan on strike, and he just pushes this one to short mid on. There'll be no run there, and Rahman was super impressive down in Wagga for the preliminary matches when the ACT Aces won all 3 games. At 17 years old, he's captain of his club team, so he's obviously held in very high regard.
Yeah, that's a fantastic accolade for a 17-year-old. Shows plenty of respect that he earns from his players and his club, obviously, and he's certainly performing very well today.
And he bowls again. It's top edge down towards deep third man, and it'll just be the single.
Very nearly spun right past him. It'll bounce and spin.
Second bounce trick. So completes the 11th over, and it is 4 for 50. So they're in a little bit of trouble, the Wranglers here.
It's going to be a tough ask here for them to get even probably up over the 100 mark, but they need to find a way. I think, as we said before, if they can actually start looking for 2s instead of 1s, and then the odd boundary is going to help them there. But at the moment, they're really being tied down, and the fielding's been exceptional in really cutting off any opportunity for running 2s even.
Yeah, they can't afford to have too many dot balls from here. They obviously 4 wickets down. The big shots probably need to be, I suppose, a bit wary in playing that, but they need to be scoring off every ball and look, turning those 1s into 2s, put some pressure back on the field.
So Jack Gullen, he'll resume from the Randwick end, and it's a single off the first ball to Ryan. He goes to 9 off 16 balls. And Qureshi, the skipper, on strike. The left-hander, short boundary to mid-wicket. He might eye it off. Comes in, Alan, leg spin, and it's hit nicely to short cover. Been impressive, Marty, the young leg spinner.
He's bowled very well and he's been very brave. He's kept pitching the ball up, and as we often say with the spinners, it's actually better if they bowl that little bit slower, and he's bowled a beautiful line and he's been able to get it. Oh, that would have been very close.
Big chance there for a possible shout for LBW, but going down the leg side. And he might have even got a little bit of bat on it. We'll just wait for the umpire here to signal. And he's actually signalled buys, so...
Right through him.
Yep, right through him.
His control's been very impressive, Alan. He's just, like I said, he's been very consistent with where he lands the ball, and it's been very hard to get away.
It's a young Queanbeyan cricketer. Again, well flighted and driven between the gap. It'll go to deep cover for a single to Ryan. He goes on the double figures. He'll be 10. And it's 4 for 53.
As a batsman, Marty, okay, you've got the leg he's bowling good control. Where would you be looking to try and score your runs?
I think the left-hander really has to be going over the top of the short mid-wicket. That's the key part for him to be able to get a boundary, and if not, then he has to be straight. There's a big gap straight, so if he can be hitting with the full face of the bat straight back over the bowler's head, there's a chance for at least 2 and possibly another boundary as well. And they really have to start thinking about where they're going to get their boundaries, because at the moment, singles just aren't going to do the trick.
That completes another very good over from Jack Ryan. 4 for 54 after 12 overs. And they're doing really well here, the Aces. They've bowled superbly, Berkey.
Yeah, look, they've done a really good job and really tighten the screws there now. I think there was 4 runs off that over again. And, you know, that's not going to get them a winning total, I wouldn't have thought, or giving their bowlers a good total to really put pressure on the Aces batsmen later on.
So, change in the bowling attack, Marty. It looks like it might be Ninneman who opened the bowling coming back on. He bowled 2 overs earlier in the day and was pretty impressive early on, gave nothing away.
Bowled beautifully in the first couple of overs at the start of the innings, and again, you know, this is a chance. So a bit more pace back on the ball. Where are they going to find it? There's some gaps out, probably square of the wicket. Seem to be the places on the offside for the left-hander here, and again over mid-wicket, which is obviously a favourite shot for the left-hander. But they're going to have to take a couple of risks now if they're going to get a decent score.
So Ninneman bowls, and the skipper hits it to mid-off. A chance for a run-out. The direct hit missed, and it might have been tight there as he's helter-skelter to the other end. But all good for the captain, Qureshi.
You're looking at the Aces there now. They've only got 4 players in the circle, but those 4 players are really pushing in. They're not sitting back on the circle, so they're making it really hard even to get the easy single. Every run that the Outlaws have to score at the moment, they really have to earn.
So Ninneman's just going to, in fact, he's just going to rotate it here. He's going to bring deep mid-off up inside the circle, and deep mid-on's going to go back. So deep cover out there. Ninneman, who generated a good bit of pace earlier on, bowls now to Ryan, and it's fallen on leg stump, and he clips it through the gap, and he should get a couple out there as the ball goes out right in front of the ladies' stand, and it's a good throw back in. So 2 more to the score. It's 4 for 57.
Nice piece of fielding there from Mern out on the boundary again, and they're covering the ground well in the outfield too, so they're really making it difficult for the Wranglers to get a boundary, and even when they do play a good shot. So at the moment, Aces are well and truly on top, and it's going to take something special here from one of the Wranglers to really jump out of the box and change the format of the game for them.
Yeah, Ryan's been in there, 19 balls, so he's starting to get himself set. There's a good shot through mid-wicket then, so he should be the one now looking to bat through for the Wranglers. Sorry.
Ninneman bowls short on this occasion. That's a good mixture. One of the first short balls we've seen for the day. In fact, we did have one that crashed into the helmet of Sheen, but that's about only the second short ball for the day.
And not being rude to Sheen, but that probably wasn't that short. Not the tallest batsman out there, but that was a nice short ball, took him by surprise. And again, they can't really be letting those go, so there has to be some sort of shot manufactured, even if it's a scoop over the keeper's head or something like that, because dot balls are really dangerous at this stage.
Ninneman full this time, full toss in fact, and through the gap by Ryan. He should find the boundary, and he does, with a nice little work through the onside, and that's badly needed. And Berkey did allude to before that he's starting to see the ball okay. He's been in, he's 16 off 21, and if he can build that to around 40 or 35, something like that, they might be able to set him some sort of target.
Yeah, now they've got a bit of a partnership going. They can ill afford to lose a wicket now. They need to keep going from that. And good boundary. They've got good support here, the Wranglers have, so it's fantastic that there's plenty of noise being made then. So if they can start getting some runs together, the support from the crowd could give them a boost as well.
So Ninneman, he charges in from the Paddington end, bowls full, and it's hit straight back down the ground. Should only be 1 run. They'll come back for 2. Bowl it. Throw goes to the keeper's end, and he's tight. Gee, Ryan was nearly run out there. A close call. Good fielding, though, down deep mid on there from Rahman. Not a bad throw either.
Great throw, right beside the stumps at the keeper's end, and really well run by the Wranglers too. Like the good pressure on the fielder. It's sort of pitched a 9-iron, probably a wedge
close.
Actually.
I reckon this is very close.
If you're having a look at Ryan there, Robbie, he didn't really run that first one hard. It's one of the lessons in cricket. You run that first one hard, but he was certainly had the legs pumping at the end.
Probably just need to be about 6 inches closer to the stumps to throw, and it would have absolutely been out.
So
yeah, another good shot.
Ninman bowls short on this occasion. Good work down on the fine leg fence, but the scoring cannot be kept under 2.
Very good over for the Wranglers.
Excellent over that one there. They've scored 11 runs off it, so 4 for 65 after 13.
Yeah, it's that intent with that running between wickets certainly can change the momentum of your innings, and turning those 1s into 2s. And with the last 3 balls there, they took 6 runs with 3 2s, and the score will keep adding up pretty well if they keep doing that.
So we're gonna. Don't think you'll see too much change down from the Randwick end. Looks like it might be Jack Allen's going to continue on. Yeah, bowled very well. His 3 overs have only gone for 10 runs. Going to be the skipper on strike, Cressy. Got the old floppy hat on. Bit of a flashback to the day, lads.
Oh, isn't that great?
Or our era, isn't it? Hey?
That's country cricketers' best,
Yeah.
isn't it? The white floppy, and probably a bit cooler than what the Wranglers would be used to in the last month, I reckon.
Allen, Cressy drives hard off Allen to deep mid off. I don't think they'll get back for 2. Ryan, probably not one of the quicker runners between wickets, and it is just the single.
Again, gets away with a single off the first ball. That's always a great start for the spinner. And the batsmen really need to be looking to try and get a boundary. Like the key to T20 is you want to try and get a boundary early in the over, and then that just makes it easier at the back end because it puts the bowler under pressure.
Well flighted, and it's hit through that gap in the covers out to the sweeper. This keeps the scoring to 1. So Ryan is top scorer so far. He's on 21. Cressy, the skipper's on 6. He's looking over mid-wicket a bit, and this time he just paddles it off the pad. The keeper comes around quick, decides not to throw. No one backing up there, and it would have been another single. So good work there by the keeper.
Yeah, once again, it's a strange shot, that little lap sweep, isn't it? They've got a man on 45, so probably at best he's going to get a single. Is he better looking to try and hit that over the man at mid-wicket?
Because it is a shorter boundary on that side. Now this time Ryan gives himself a bit of room, but can only force it to the man at deep cover for another single. So 4 singles off the over. Be nice to finish with a boundary off one of these last 2, Marty.
Absolutely. They desperately need a boundary or a couple of 2s off the last 2 balls to make it a worthy over.
Allen now, and he throws it up, and it's a play and a miss outside off stump.
Nice wronging.
Very good, wasn't it?
Nicely bowled.
I think Marty picked it from up here. I'm not sure if the skipper picked it down there. So to complete an over, Jack Allen to complete his spell. He's only had 14 off it, and he might just give up a couple more here. Nice little dab shot behind Gully there, and it will be 2 runs. So good completion of a spell there from Jack Allen, Gary Birkinshaw. Just the 14 off it for his 14 off it for the 16 from his 4 overs. He'll go away pretty happy.
Oh, he would have took that at the beginning of his spell. Really, really good. What impressed me was just the lack of bad balls. Like he was just very, very consistent. Control was fantastic, and the Wranglers batsman tried to play him off the front foot and the back foot, and he was able to adjust to both. So look, really, really good spell, and it's fantastic in T20 cricket, Robbie, to actually see the role that leg spinners play. When it was first introduced, everyone said it was going to be the death of leg spinners, but realistically now they're playing a very, very important role. Yeah,
and we just Marty Garoni steps out of the off the mic, and we're rejoined by the man, the heart and soul of the Western Wranglers, Matty Tabernar, is back with us. Matty, 4 for 71. You got 6 overs left. Can you get around that 120 mark?
Yeah, I think we can. You can see these two are starting to get a bit busy at the crease, and like we said, I think they're going to need 120 to give something to their bowlers to bowl to. But they've got some good hitters coming through here. Tanvir Singh, Josh Doherty, even the Gurney brothers can hit a long ball. So I'm confident they can get to that 120 as a minimum.
Well, this pair have put on 30 so far as Ninneman bowls now to Ryan, and Ryan heaves it, swings it down to deep mid-on just for a single. Rahman, who's already shown us he's got a very good arm, gets in off that boundary quick.
Well, they achieved the first thing that we spoke about before, Robin. That was trying to get through to 15th over without losing another wicket. We're in the 15th over now, so they've set themselves up. They'll be able to have a good dash. 6 wickets still in the shed for the last 5 overs. So, yeah, they recovered quite well, really, the Wranglers.
I think the big difference is there's not as many dot balls. They're looking to score off every ball now, which is going to make a huge difference.
And historically, a score of around 120, 130 here has won a lot of games in this format. As Ninneman bowls again, and the skipper nearly chops on. He just kept it out. Well bowled by Ninneman, a very good Yorker, full on off stump.
Yeah, I think you always see it, even in the Big Bash and the Women's Big Bash. Runs on the board's always important. You've got the runs, they've got to get it. So if you can bowl, take some early wickets in that power play, you're in the game. So I think they'll be eking out as many as they can and back their bowlers, put some pressure on the ACT batsmen when they have their innings.
So very impressive. Michael Ninneman runs up again now and he bowls to Cressy and he cracks it through the offside. He should get it through for a boundary. He does. Lovely shot as it goes down in front of the members' stand, and it takes the score along to 4 for 76, and that is just what the doctor ordered. He's going on a run of the ball, the skipper here, Matty. He's the big hope here.
He is, yeah, and it looks like, looking at the crowd over here, the members, a lot of Central West supporters have made the trip over the mountains and making some noise, and hopefully Jamil and Adam here can give them something else to cheer for. But yeah, it looks like they're starting up the ante here. It's going to be a good 5 overs.
On first name basis, Matty Taberner with the batsman, Berkey. Just a bit of parochialism starting to come in as the skipper, Jamil, might be all out calling that, hits it down to mid-on for a single.
Oh, surely you're not going to call Matty parochial, really? Like,
no, I don't think so.
Mr. Central West, yeah.
No, it's a bit of a fist pump. You wouldn't have seen that on the screens, but as that boundary previous ball went through the covers there.
Yeah, everyone knows I like a good bandwagon. I'm definitely
right.
I'm definitely on the Wranglers bandwagon. The shirt's on, trying to get them all home here, and hopefully they get a game under lights tonight.
All right. Well, Ryan's back on strike. He's 23 off 26 balls. He faces Ninneman, and it's wide outside off stump. He hits it straight. I don't think they'll get back for 2. Oh, got to go to the keeper's end. It goes to the bowler's end. Great running there by Cressy. He got through for 2. And handy runs against the Wranglers. 4 for 79. 8 off the over, lads, with 1 ball to come.
Yeah, look, good running there, and certainly Cressy certainly putting plenty of pressure on Ryan to get back for that second run, and a bit straighter that one than what the previous was, so he had to throw that a little bit off balance down there as Rahman. So good running there and good intent, good over for the Wranglers.
Adam Ryan on strike, faces Ninneman, short, wide outside off stump, and he punches it hard to wide deep mid off, and good fielding down there by Ollie Annabelle keeps the scoring just to 2 runs. So it does finish off a good over though, and the score at 4 for 81.
Yeah, just having a quick look at it. If 5 overs to go, if they can get 10 and over, that's 131, which I think will be their aim now. Wickets in the shed, big hitters to come. I think that's what they've got to look for. That over's gone for best part of 10. The last over was 11. So yeah, it looks like that's their target at the moment. So I think if they get to 131, they're definitely in the game.
Yeah, 41-run partnership, this one between Cressy and Ryan, so really, really good work by them, recovering them from 4 for 40 to 4 for 81 with we've got 5 overs still to go. So I'm a bit with you, Matty. I like the Wranglers where they position themselves right now. They've really got a good launching pad, and to get to 120, 130, you never judge a wicket until both sides have had a bat on it. So runs on the board is certainly an advantage.
So a bit of a change too, Matty, in the bowling attack. It'll be, we spoke about that man, Rahman. He's coming on to bowl from the Randwick end. And he'll bowl to Cressy, the skipper. Bowls now, full outside off stump, and he slices it down to third man for a single. Annabelle fields well.
Yeah, I think what we've seen in the first 15 overs, I think there's always going to be something in there for the bowlers. I think it's just that little bit in there. It might be just a little bit of movement, a little bit back of a length. There's going to be something in there for the bowlers for the 20 overs. So I think, anything over 6 and over is going to be challenging for the batsmen, especially if you take early wickets like the ACT Aces have today.
Yeah, real good cricket wicket. They put out here today as Rahman bowls now, and it's just heaved over the top by Ryan. First bounce down to deep mid-on. Just a single.
Looks like one of those wickets that takes a little time to get into, but once you
Yeah,
get used to the scoring becomes a lot easier. And these two batsmen are doing a lot easier now than what they were 3 or 4 overs ago. Runs are coming, run a ball without any trouble. Ones are being turned into twos. They're getting the odd boundary, and they've really put the pressure back on the Aces bowlers.
And Rahman bowls now. Oh, it's a nice little scoop. It was wide outside off stump. And the skipper, Cressy, not great running there. Boys, you're going to have to come back. It hasn't gone to the boundary yet. And they'll only get 2 there. There was a poor running, to be honest. And, yeah, gee, it was a full ball that was started outside the left-handers off stump. He just attempted this little ramp shot. And we'll see it here in the replay. He thought it was off the bat 4 runs, but it did hold up. They only get 2.
Yeah, I think that's the old age adage. All coaches say you always run them hard until it crosses that boundary, and I think they've cost themselves probably 2 runs there.
So here he comes. He advances down the wicket, drives hard down to deep mid-off. Does Cressy just for a single, and he goes up to 18. He's going at a run a ball. Ryan's up to 28 or 29, so they're really building here, getting a lot of momentum in these late overs. 4 for 86.
Just that last ball, great bit of feeling by Ollie Annable down there. He never gave it up. He could have just jogged after as well, but he dived and saved his team 2 runs.
Rahman again, bowls to Ryan, and Ryan heaves it down to deep mid-off. Again, 1 bounce down to that fielder down there.
It's another good over by Rahman. It's all at the stumps, all straight. And I think they've only bowled 1 wide for memory here with the Aces. So they're not many sundries too, which always helps. Don't want to give extra balls. 120 balls, you don't want to bowl too many more than that. And ACT are showing how to bowl on this wicket.
So Rahman to complete his over, bowls to Cressy, and he plays it off leg stump beautifully. Clips it down, past the man at short square leg, short fine leg, and it goes away for 4 runs. So that is a good over for the Wranglers. Another 10 runs off it, and with 4 overs to go, they're 4 for 91. And Matty Taberner, you're starting to get up and about here in the box.
Yeah, no, these two are giving some Wranglers a bit of hope here. 10 and over the last couple of overs. We talked about that at the end of last over, and yeah, these two are showing how it's being done and getting in and taking on a drink here. So it looks like they're keen to see the innings through. And bit of excitement back in the Central West over the mountains. I'm tipping at the moment.
The bad news for you, Matt, is the man who did all the carnage in the first 10 overs, David Gavin, is back joining us. 4 wickets you took. Hasn't been a wicket since you left us. You're back, Dave. The carnage may continue.
No, we had the 3 people here from the Riverina, no wickets. What was doing there?
Well,
I just don't quite understand that.
Well, we're country boys at heart, Dave. And I'm an honorary or temporary ACTite today. Good afternoon to everyone out there in the nation's capital, as we have a change in the bowling.
Good keep.
And coming on to bowl from the Paddington end, looks like it's the Ethan Bartlett, the skipper.
But it must be mentioned, the ACT are the Wagga Wagga pool. They're representing the broader Riverina, southern New South Wales down here at
I'm
the
on them
SCG.
today. Yeah, I've got to get on the bandwagon today.
So I had to come back on here to try and get them a couple of wickets.
It's been a good partnership build here, Dave. It's both batsmen now their combined total are just better than run a ball, as Bartlett bowls to Cressy on leg stump, and I'll come through for a leg bye here, which is important.
Yeah, that boundary in the last over actually brought up the 50-run partnership between these two. So, and it'd be pretty close to run a ball. The run rate's got up to 5.7, so it's starting to creep up there to the magic 6 number we keep talking about here, and hopefully they can continue on and not get that 130 that the Central West option would like to get very much.
So Bartlett to Adam Ryan, and it's wide outside off stump and just stays inside the parameter there, so it will bowl by Bartlett. Just got away with that one there.
Bowled that particular delivery well today, haven't they, ACT? The wide Yorker outside off stump. So, and Bartlett's been a particularly good exponent of that.
A lot of T20 cricket these ACT Aces, guys. As Bartlett again bowls to Ryan. This time it's just a little bit shorter, and all he can do is poke it out to short cover. He'll get through for a single. So it hasn't been too many dot balls, Matty, over the last probably 5 or 6 overs, which has been a big advantage.
I think that's been the difference.
Yeah.
They've eliminated the dot balls. They're getting busy, looking to score. 1s into 2s. There's been a couple of 2s there that probably weren't there, but they made into 2s. So they're getting busier. Get rid of those dot balls. Run a ball gives 6 and over.
Bartlett to Cressy, and it's full again, and he just drives it straight to short cover for a dot ball. And all the experience of Ethan Bartlett's really coming out here, the skipper. We did get feedback from our friend Luke Olsen in Wagga that he is filthy that Ethan Bartlett is playing for the Aces and not the Sloggers. You can't have your cake and eat it too, Luke. That's my advice to you. As Bartlett bowls and a shorter, slashed down to third man. Clever shot, but he's only going to get the 1 run for it. And the score goes along to 95. That completes the 17th over. 3 overs to go. Dave Gavin, you've seen a lot of cricket here at the SCG over the last few years. What's a good score?
Well, throughout the Big Bash here for the Sixers, it's been around that 140 to 150 marks competitive, but these boys, it might be around the 130 mark, as has been spoken about, that run of ball. The wicket seems to be getting just a little bit better to bat on.
Yeah, a little bit quicker.
I think that grass possibly just slowed the ball up a little bit early on, and that possibly took the Wranglers batsmen a little while to get into their groove and get used to the pace of the pitch. Looks in pristine condition here, the SCG. And it looks as though there'll be another change in the bowling at the Randwick end.
Looks like we have Scott Mearn who'll come into the attack. Of course, he earlier in the day, the great Yorker he bowled to Ben Mitchell. It went cartwheeling, didn't it?
And he's only going to bowl 3 overs in total. So that is interesting that Ethan Bartlett saved him for the last 2 overs.
Bowls to Cressy now, and Cressy, well, he advanced to the leg side, and it was very well bowled by Mearn, and in the end he was about 2 metres from the ball. It wasn't a wide, well bowled, and he moved a bit early, the batsman there.
Yeah, it was inside the line there.
Yeah.
He moved away. I think that's a good call by the umpires. Have done a great job so far. Been very, very good as always.
Of course, Matt Tabin, a renowned umpire in the orange area. Now here's again, this time it will be wide, I think. No, it's not, and the skipper, Cressy, appeals to the umpire. We'll have a look on the Bar TV replay here. And just talk us through this one, boys.
It was touch and go, wasn't it? It did pitch just inside that
Yeah.
inner white line, so you understand the umpire's decision. They've been very consistent.
My suggestion we don't move around the crease, young fella. He stays a bit more stable this time. He gets bat on ball, but he hits it straight back to the bowler,
Now
who underarms to the stumps, and he's going to give up a single for a fairly unnecessary act, Matthew.
Yeah, sometimes just holding on to that ball is good, especially in the last 3 overs now. Dot balls, just as good as a wicket now. I think Central West need a boundary and over.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Yep, hit leg stump.
Yep.
Batsman was in the crease. And the skipper, Cressy, says come through for 1.
Yeah.
Adam?
Good match awareness too.
Yep.
Looking for that single. It didn't only just go past the pitch there off the square. So yeah, good match awareness by both batsmen.
It's interesting that Ethan Bartlett's got no real men close to the wicket
Yeah.
to stop that quick single.
Mearn bowls now. Ryan, it's a good shot, but it's down to third man and only the 1 run. And they have done that very well today. The Aces have bowled full and straight.
I think it's getting close to that stage now. Wickets in the shed. It's just swing hard every ball. The ones are not enough now. They need the boundaries. I think they've got to start upping the ante, trying to hit that boundary. If you lose a couple of wickets, you got nothing to lose. But yeah, I think just taking a bit of a cautious approach.
14 legal balls left in the match. Mearn bowls, and this time again, similar situation. Hell of a mix-up there. Went through to the keeper. Cressy was well out of his crease. The keeper missed with the throw at the stumps, and all for a dot ball.
He's bowled that wide Yorker again. He's bowling that well. That was right on the popping crease near that wide line, and he's bowling that well. Very hard to get away. He's only gone for 2 in this over, 4 in his first over. He's bowling really well, Scotty here.
Mearn in, game bowls out of Cressy this time. It goes over the top of the keeper's head. Keeper might have even got a glove on it, took a bit of the pace off it. Slight misfield down in the boundary. That won't matter. They were always going to get 2 runs, and that's what they've done to complete the over, which sees just the 4 runs off it. Matt Taberner, 4 for 99. There's 2 overs to go. Ryan's on 31, and Cressy's on 26.
I think it's time to throw the willow around. I don't think the Newling's time to stop that. Just throw it around. If you get over the boundary, you can find those edges that went over the keeper's head. They're just as important. I'm a bit of a fan of a backstop, the old-fashioned backstop in T20 to stop that. But if they're not going to put it in, I think it's swing the bat, get some edges, find the boundary.
I was wondering how long it was going to take for that to come up. It's a bit of a discussion point for Matt Taberner. He might elaborate a little bit more on this over about that, but perhaps Dave, as Bartlett comes in, bowls to Ryan, and it's full again like a Yorker length. And all they can do is just swat it out for a single. It brings up the 100, but with 11 balls to go, they just might need a bit more than that.
We will come to that point about the backstop in a minute, but I'd just like to point out, I think Ethan Bartlett might be regretting not bowling Scott Moon the full 4 overs, because he started so impressively, and unfortunately he's only going to bowl 3, so hopefully it doesn't cost them back into this match.
Bartlett, short mid-wicket, underarm at the stumps, and Cressy gets home. They haven't hit with the direct hit yet during the innings, the Aces, but they have fielded very well in general. It's 101, 10 balls to go in the innings.
I'll tell you one thing they've done really well is hit that Yorker length. Another one right on the popping crease. I think that's, out of the last 8 balls, they've probably hit that 7 times, I reckon, and it's getting very hard for the batsmen to get it away. They're bowling really well, those Yorkers, at the death.
Bartlett again, now he bowls to Ryan, and again, a Yorker length. Straight back at the bowler. The field's been coming around very quickly from mid-off, and it's young Ollie Annabelle, and he keeps the scoring to 2. So good shot there from Ryan, who goes up to 34. 4 for 103. 3 balls to go in the 19th over.
I think Ryan were looking for a boundary this ball.
Bartlett again. Bowls shorter, and it goes through to the keeper. Well, good use of the short ball. No score. Dot ball.
It's a really good over, isn't it? So far, just the 4 off it for Ethan Bartlett. The 2 singles, the 2 from the Yorker length deliveries, and then that last one, a really good short ball, just outside off stump or over the top of the off bail.
Ethan Bartlett. Bowls Yorker again, and just all they can do, the batsman Ryan, is squeeze it out to a deep cover for 1 run. I would imagine that the 2 Sixers sides that will play next are both having a look at the style of bowling that the ACT Aces are doing here, as they will do for the Wranglers, but certainly been very full. Bartlett to finish off a very good over. Only 4 runs off it so far. Clipped nicely, but straight to short fine leg. Bit of a mix-up. Direct hit. Is he out? No, he's home. Safe. They got through for a single. Completes 19 overs. And Cressy goes up to 28 off 28. Ryan's 35 off 38. And it is 4 for 105.
I think you can see it's high pressure out there. As we mentioned throughout the coverage today, for many of these men out in the middle of the SCG, it's their first time on the hallowed ground, or if not, it's a big occasion. The Thunder Conference final, opportunity to play in the final of the Plan B Regional Bash later this evening. 6 o'clock start time for that final. And we've seen quite a few mix-ups and close calls for the Central West Wranglers, but these 2 have done a great job.
What a thrill for those kids, just getting to run the water out to the batsmen there. A couple of the kids of the players get to run water, get out in the SCG, and 10, 11, 12 years old, and they get to run out in the SCG. It's a great experience for country cricket and cricketers in general that get to share this experience with their children.
It's nice weather as well. It's a little bit overcast, but it's not too hot. It's a little humid out there, but it's certainly not uncomfortable out there.
I think
not bad for what we've been used to the last 3 weeks, Dave,
right.
down our way.
I think Central West will be looking for 15 off this over.
Scott Moon to bowl it, and he comes in, and it's a bit of a ramped attempted shot there from the skipper Cressy. And it might have missed everything, did it? Or did he get a bit of bat on it? Buys, yeah, so the batter missed it, the keeper missed it, and third man did very well to come around and clean up.
Well, that was quite remarkable, because the way he shuffled across to leg stump, that ball actually probably would have been called a wide if he hadn't have shuffled inside the line of the ball.
Yeah, I think you've often seen these situations, these country players like this who don't practice that shot a lot. They come and try to execute it on a big stage. Very rarely it comes off as Moon now bowls to... Oh, he's throwing the bat at it all right. It's gone straight up in the air. It slipped out of his hands, and they got no runs out of that, but this will come up very nicely on the Bar TV replay. Gee, he was going to give that a little bit of something. That would have ended up in orange, I reckon. Here he goes, swings, the bat goes up in the air. He has to run back, try to stay in, puts his foot down, and the bat will land eventually. And he looks at his gloves. Jeez, have a look at this. Well, we're back into the action. Moon bowls to Ryan again. This time he keeps the bat in his hand, eases it down to third man for a boundary. Yes.
That's what they needed.
The ball eventually gets over despite a bit of spectacular work down there from Ninneman. And they get a badly needed boundary, Matt Tabernar.
Yeah, they needed that one. I think they need a couple more. But yeah, that's a nice little noodle down there. That would have been the backstop, would have stopped that one too beforehand. But good piece of fielding there by Ninneman. Just couldn't quite get there. But how good's this outfield going? That just kept running. I think it might have shocked him a bit how it kept going quickly.
If the backstop's called Usain Bolt, he might have, Matthew, but I'm not sure about that. As Ninneman comes in, bowls to Ryan, and he plays a very funny old sort of ramp reverse sweep whack shot, and it goes for 1 run after all that.
Yeah, I think we might be seeing a bit more of that shot. I noticed Qureshi, he's put a helmet on for the last over. He's been batting in the floppy, but he's put the helmet on, so might see another ramp attempt here. I think they're looking to go over the keeper's head.
I'd be suggesting a little bit more practice at the Wade Park nest before they executed on game day, Matthew. 2 balls to go, 4 for 111. And again, he's lost his leg stump. He tried the same shot, and it's just not working for the skipper, Qureshi. He's out for 28. Clean bowl by Scotty Mearn. 5 for 111, but it was a very good partnership, Tabsy.
Yeah, partnership of 71 between these two, which has given the Central West Wranglers a total to defend, or to bowl to. And probably wouldn't want to be Josh Doherty having to come out and face 1 ball, but at least he can say that he's got to bat on the SCG, which is a positive. And I'm sure he would love to say he hit a 6 on the SCG off 1 ball, a strike rate of 600. But we'll, the way they're bowling here, the ACT Aces, I think they should be looking to just get anything they can.
Well, Jamil middled that one, unfortunately straight into leg stump. But yeah, it was good effort, wasn't it?
He got a bit of bat on it, did he, Dave?
He did. Okay. He got plenty of bat on it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he middled it.
He leg glanced it into the leg off stump or leg stump.
Yeah.
What about Scott Mooney? 2.5 overs, 2 for 13.
Yeah,
he's bowled superb. He's hit those Yorkers. Hasn't given much.
Doherty back in the crease a bit here. Can he get under 1? No, it's a bouncer and it goes through, and that'll be the end of the innings. Very well bowled by the Aces. Lord Nelson, 111 they've achieved, and the ACT Aces will be confident running that down, Dave Gavin?
I think they will. Yeah, it was a good effort by ACT. They were probably getting a little concerned when Qureshi and Ryan were just ticking the scoreboard along quite regularly and building that partnership, but they really did clamp it back and get back some ground in terms of a competitive total that they would feel comfortable chasing towards the back end of that 20 overs. And Ryan remained 40 not out from 41 deliveries. That final wicket to fall, I mentioned the leg stump was actually the off stump for the left-hander, I think. Can't quite remember, still trying to get over that bat throw. But Ryan not out 40 and Doherty not out 0. 1 ball faced. 5 for 111, and as you mentioned, Robbie, the ACT Aces should be confident about chasing that down.
Well, Matty Taberner, we might get you to go through the scorecard, the Wranglers innings, and just maybe the bowling figures before we take a break.
Yeah, no problem. So Ben Sheen opened the batting. He was caught Missick, bowled Bartlett for 13. Nick Brose caught Flores, bowled Ninneman for 4. Ben Mitchell was bowled for 11. Matt Corbin caught behind off Ramian for 8. Adam Ryan remained 40 not out. Jamil Qureshi was born morn in that last over for 28, and Josh Doherty just got to face the 1 ball for no run. So I think you can see from that, just no any partnerships. All got starts, nothing continued on there.
All right, well, we're going to go through the fall of wickets, and Dave Gavin, seeing you were here involved for all the carnage, we might get you to work our way back through them, but it was a very good bowling performance here from the ACT Aces.
Yeah, certainly was. The captain, Ethan Bartlett, would be very happy with that performance. Michael Ninneman, 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 28, as we can see the replay. First wicket to fall there. Great catch by Flores. Just running through those bowling figures. The left armour, Ollie Annabelle, 2 overs, none for 9. Ethan Bartlett, the captain, 4 overs, 1 for 21. Great exponent of the Yorker throughout his 4 overs as well. Scott Mearn, I think Bartlett will be kicking himself that he didn't get to bowl him the full 4 overs. 2 wickets for Mearn, and they've taken the scoreboard down from me, so we'll just get another replay of a few of the wickets.
Ben Mitchell going there, losing his leg peg there.
It's one of the highlights of the morning, wasn't it?
Great effort. Another replay here. 3rd wicket to fall, that of Sheehan. Again, just didn't quite get the pace of the pitch early. The Central West Wranglers batsman. A few popped up from some mistimed shots trying to go over the top, and Rahman, another good bowler for ACT, picked up a wicket, caught behind
Good catch
Corbin.
from Benny Watling.
Yeah, that's Matt Corbin going.
And of course, Scott Mern struck again.
He's hit on the leg.
That was the final wicket to fall.
Yeah, he did. He got a lot on. He was a long way outside off stump, and he managed to clip it on the leg stump. So that was all how it all panned out in the first innings in the Plan B Regional Bash, the Thunder Conference final between the ACT Aces and the Central West Wranglers. 111, the Wranglers have set the ACT Aces. We'll be back for the start of the Aces innings. We're here at the SCG. It's Robbie McKinlay, Matty Taberner and Dave Gavin, and we'll be back very soon.
on the ACT.
Welcome back to the Plan B Regional Bash. The ACT Aces about to start their innings, requiring 112 in this Thunder Conference final to make it through to the final, which is going to take place at 6 p.m. tonight, alongside Matty Tabanor and also Mighty Garoni. Boys, 111 made by Central West in their 20 overs. Do we think it's going to be enough on this deck?
I think it's a bit under par. I think 120, 130 would have been the par score here. So I think Central West are going to have to take some wickets in this power play. It's going to be the key these first 6 overs. They need 2 or 3 wickets in the power play, just like ACT did, to have any chance.
And Marty, ACT, they've been pretty impressive in their 3 lead-up games to this, and we were speaking that they've been in trouble in times during the season, but have got so much batting depth, and that's got to give them a huge shot of confidence heading into this with a relatively small total that they have to chase.
Absolutely. I mean, they've recovered from 4 for 30 in one of the games to get up and win. So, I think they do have a lot of batting depth, but they also have the ability to get away to a quick start. And Tabs is quite right in that, if the Wranglers can't sort of keep them down under 30, probably in the power play, and take 2 or 3 wickets, and it's going to be a really hard slog for them to try and contain them once they're able to sort of spread their wings a little bit after the 6 overs.
Well, Flores and Trickett, the 2 batters to open the innings here for the ACT. They need 112 to win, which is a run rate of only 5.6, but there's no doubt plenty of people that are watching that have watched the Big Bash or the WBBL. Sometimes these small totals can be a little bit tricky for batsmen and batters to try and chase down, because they're not really sure whether they should kind of throw the arms early or try and be a bit more patient and find the gaps, but we'll soon find out how they're going to go in this one.
I think you'll find that Flores will just go after it pretty hard right from the get-go.
In comes Stephen, this one just tucked off the hip to short fine leg, and we start with the dot ball.
Yeah, I think Central West here are going to their best and economical bowler in Matt Stephen from the Bathurst Club. In these 2 previous games in this competition, 2 for 19, 2 for 10 off 4 overs. So I think you'll find he'll bowl 4 straight right up the start. Trying to get that run rate up, take a couple of early wickets, and really put the pressure back on the ACT Aces.
Real key in these early parts of the overs to obviously build some pressure by keeping the run rate down. The best thing for that is to get wickets, particularly in this power play where you're going to have players in attacking positions, as the Wranglers do. They've got 1 slip in place and a couple of players close to the bat on the onside. Stephen in, and this ball pushed away tentatively. There's a bit of a mix-up between the batsmen, but they do manage to scamper through for a single, so Flores opens his account and the account for the ACT boys. They're none for 1.
Yeah, very hesitant sort of running between the wickets there from the ACT boys, and could have easily been a run out had he picked up cleanly, but luckily for them he didn't. And I think that seems to be a bit of a tentative start there from the ACT batsmen, so good early bowling from the Wranglers, but hope they've got a long way to go, and they need to be really consistent and work really hard, especially through these first 6.
Yeah, no doubt a few nerves playing at the SCG. It's would be the pinnacle for some of these players' careers to date, no doubt. Stephen comes in again. This ball pitched up, wraps him on the pad. Looks like the one might have just been drifting down the leg side. Umpire is unmoved, not out the call.
But I think here you just see what Matt Stephen is. He's looks like he's listened to the ACT Aces, watch what they've done, full at the stumps. Maybe pitched outside leg a little bit there, going down leg side. But I think that's the key here. ACT show, just keep it at the stumps, nice and full, and put question marks to the batsman.
Seems to be enough in the pitch in the early overs as well, boys, that they can get a little bit of assistance if the ball is pitched up. This one is pitched up, and it's a wafting drive there from Trickett, playing away from his body.
Beautifully bowled, just pushed it across him. He chased it and couldn't quite catch up to it. So, yeah, this is a really good start to the bowling period for the Wranglers, and he's bowling a beautiful line and length and making it really hard for the batsman. And it's going to be testing time for the Wranglers, because Flores is coming off 101 in the Conica Minolta semi-final down in the ACT, so he's seeing the ball pretty well at the moment.
Stephen continues again, pitched up, lofted over the top, doesn't get it right out of the middle, but gets a good chunk of it as it travels out towards the ladies' stand boundary here at the SCG, and they'll settle for 2. So Trickett taking the arrow route there, going over the top, and he gets a couple.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good 20 overs. I think what we saw in the first innings, that there's always something in it for the bowlers for the 20 overs, and no batsman was able to get away if they bowled that nice full straight line. So I think we're in for a great 20 overs. I don't think 112 is going to be a walk in the park here for ACT Aces. Yeah, it's going to be great to see how they go about it.
Sort of edge of runs on the board rather than the wickets in the shed, isn't it, for the Wranglers at the moment? They've made a positive start. Last ball, the first over. Stephen drifts down the leg side. And this has been caught behind. A beautiful take behind the stumps. And Matt Stephen gets the early wicket that the Wranglers so desperately were striving for. Strickett is caught behind for 2, and they're 1 for 3 after 1, the Aces.
Yeah, great take here by Matt Corbin from the orange side. He's got to take a little thing, and that's a great one. And it looked like it was behind him. He's taken that behind him, and that's exactly what they need. They've got to take these 50-50 chances. They've missed the run out at the start of the innings. But no, that's a big wicket. Always good to get a wicket in that first over, and a great catch here to Matt Corbin. That's what Matt Stephen does.
Always need a little bit of luck in a T20. You only need a little bit more bat on that, and that was an easy 4. So very fine edge, great piece of keeping, and a good start here for the Wranglers. So puts the ACT under pressure, and it's the skipper coming out to join Flores out in the middle. So Ethan Bartlett, big game player, plays really well, played a lot of cricket, and yeah, if they can knock him over early, then they're right in this game, the Wranglers.
And Matty, I know when I played, a ball down the leg side was normally getting tickled around or tucked around through fine leg for 4, but we see in the short form of the game, and even in Test cricket a bit now, we saw it in the Test series between Australia and India, that ball that moves a little bit, drifts into the pads, often gets a caught behind, and they've benefited again there, the Wranglers.
Yeah, it's surprising this summer how many have been caught down the leg side. Noticed in the Indian Test series there's been quite a lot, in the BBL there's been a lot as well, so I think it's a mixture of a bit of unluckiness and the keepers really working on covering a lot more area, especially in 2020s where you don't have a fine leg or a third man a lot of the time. So, yeah, no, it's great. Just means you might need a little bit more bat onto it.
So Tanveer Singh opening up from the Randwick end of the ground here at the SCG. It's been pretty overcast and cloudy for the large period of this morning, but there is a little bit of blue sky and the sun's starting to poke its way through the clouds. Flores is unbeaten on 1, and the captain Bartlett at the non-strikers end yet to face the ball. 1 for 3, a further 109 required. In comes Singh. This ball just short of a length on and around about that offside or off stump line, and just pushed out onto the offside.
Yeah, good to see Tanveer get a run. He's only 17 years old, so again, another highlight for him, no doubt. He was part of the ACT New South Wales country team that won the National Under-17s champs this year, or joined it with Queensland because of a washed out, so he's got a bit of experience in the 2020 format as well.
Made a good start there. Let's see if he can continue it as he comes over the wicket. It's wide and it's knocked over the top of point, going down to the boundary, and it's a great piece of fielding on the fence there from, I think that might have been Daryl Kennewell out there on the fence. He took a large chunk of the SCG turf with him, but it was a great piece of fielding there out in the deep and saved a certain boundary.
Good country lad goes back and replaces his giver. That's what we like to see.
And it's good to see a 39-year-old out on the boundary there, the captain of the Essentials Club in orange, and he's showing all about his 39-year-old there, fixes up the grass, looks after the equipment. Great fielding by Darryl.
Singh continues, flicks this one down through fine leg for 4. Just lost his line a little bit there, Singh, and duly obliging there was Flores, who clipped it away. He moves to 7, 1 for 9.
First one was a little bit wide, and the next one was overcorrected and got that clipped down to fine leg for 4 runs. So very clever batting here from Flores, and unfortunately he's getting away a little bit now, which is, they're really going to need to rein him back in.
So 6 runs have come from these last 2 balls after Singh started with back-to-back dot balls. And whipping this one out through mid-wicket, gets another good shot from Flores. He's got plenty of time behind that, and that's going to be another boundary. So the runs are starting to flow here for the ACT side. Flores moves into double figures, and again just drifting onto the pads there, Matty, and flicked away easily by Flores.
Yeah, no consistent line or length here by Singh. It's first one outside off, next 2 down the leg side are on the pad, so I think he just needs to find that offside channel that the ACT Aces found, put a bit of pressure and just try and finish this over off now with a dot ball.
Yeah, disappointing after they bowled so well in that first over, the Wranglers. Singh delivers and again flicked away at through fine leg, and that's going to be 4 more. So just struggling with his direction at the moment is Tanveer Singh, and the Aces have cashed in 3 consecutive boundaries and 14 off the over so far. Flores 15 of only 7 balls now, and this is the problem in the power play, isn't it, Marty? If your bowlers get it just a little bit wrong, there's so many gaps around the field that eventually I think the Wranglers are going to put a player down there now. Runs can flow.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, he's bowled 3 balls that have been able to be whipped away to the leg side. All his protections on the offside, so he needs to be bowling a good foot, 2 foot outside off stump at the moment. And unfortunately, he's drifted onto the pads, and Flores has taken full advantage.
Flores now wafting at this, has been dropped by Corbin behind the stumps. He got a full hand to it, but wasn't able to grasp it in, and they pick up a single. And so after a rather underwhelming over, it almost ended on a high there for Tanveer Singh. Unfortunately, the keeper's almost like a soccer goalkeeper there, Matt. He's parried it away from his first slip fielder, and they scurry through for a single, and it's 1 for 18 after 2.
Yeah, that would have been another one just behind him. Matt Corbin does play soccer back here at a state age level, but yeah, unfortunately couldn't glove that one, and they're the ones you've got to take when you've only got 111 on the board. So yeah, it's a bit of a let off there, and especially would have been the big wicket as well. So hopefully Matt Stephen can bowl a second over like he did the first.
Could have been a costly 7th ball of the over. That there seemed to be an extra ball that over, but yeah, so a good over, a good finish to what was a poor over, and unfortunately couldn't, after taking a great catch in the first over, couldn't hang on to that one, and that could prove to be a really costly drop, because Flores is obviously seeing the ball really well at the moment.
And these first 6 overs are imperative for the Wranglers, not only to take wickets but try and keep that run rate down. Already it's 9 and over after only 3 runs were conceded, including a wicket in that first over from Stephen. He continues over the wicket, and this ball traps him on the pad. And a strong appeal from the Wranglers, but falls on deaf ears.
Yeah, I think that one might be going down leg from what I could see live here. We'll see it on replay here. Yeah, it looks like probably going down leg. It's probably a good decision there by the umpire.
Stephen, he's really on the money though, isn't he, Marty?
He's
when
bowling,
you compare him to Tanveer Singh's over.
He's bowling beautifully. He's pushing the ball in, and he bowled that one that cooped into the left-hander that got the wicket in the previous over. So he's moving the ball both ways, which is really a great advantage.
This one, he loses his direction. It's flicked off the pads. Going down towards that fine leg boundary, won't reach the rope, and they'll collect 2 more, the Aces.
Yeah, it looks like he's getting a little bit of in-swing here, Matt Stephen. Looks like he's bringing him in, which probably means might need to have a look at the field if you're going to do that. Maybe look at a fine leg or bring that guy a little bit finer. Again in that first over, got the one down the leg side. So
it's an interesting field he's got. It's sort of a 50-50 bet. He's not really planning to bowl to one side of the wicket or the other, which is obviously bowling straight's nice, but it sort of opens up a whole lot of scoring areas for the batsman as well.
This ball just punched out to mid-off, so no run. That's what the Wranglers need. They need to try and build a bit of pressure after 15 runs came from the previous over. This is the Thunder Conference Final, so the winner of this contest will play in the final against the Sixers Conference Final later tonight at 6 p.m. So plenty of cricket. Obviously the Sixers Conference Final after this game at 2 p.m. Stephen continues again, swings into the pads and worked onto the onside for a single.
Yeah, again getting the ball to coming into the batsman there. So he probably should get this. Probably just needs to have a look at the field here, and like Marty suggested, a little bit both sides here. Just need to build some pressure, dot ball after dot ball, bowl on one side of the wicket, just like the ACT Aces were able to do in their innings.
Very tight bowling, and he's cramping them up too, so he's not giving them any room to free their arms up and have a good swing at the bat, swing at the ball. So he's bowling really, really well for the Wranglers at the moment.
Full toss by Stephen. It's slammed back down towards him, not timed, and another dot ball. That's Bartlett's first ball. He's been out there for quite some time, but has been seeing all the action from the non-striker's end.
He's had the best spectating position in the game, watching what Flores was doing the previous over, but yeah, gets to face his first ball. Got a nice juicy full toss and unable to put it away.
So 1 ball left in this third over, and again only 3 runs coming from it. Good bowling here from Stephen. He pitches up and it's punched down the ground. They will get through for a single. Bartlett taking on the arm there of the Wranglers outfield and gets through, so he'll retain the strike. He picks up a single. He moves to 1. Flores is 19 from only 12 balls and 3 overs gone, chasing 112 to make it through to the Plan B Regional Bash Final. And the ACT Aces on top at the moment, 1 for 22.
And it looks like here they're going to bring spin on from the other end. This looks like Nick Brose coming on from this end. Yes, it is. So a bit of spin early on in the power play just to see how it's going, just to mix it up a bit, which I think is a good decision here. Take the pace off the ball, see what's in there. Nick took 5 for in the preliminary matches too, so you'll put him under pressure. So yeah, I think this is a good switch here by Qureshi, captain here.
Well, you've got to take some gambles, don't you, Marty, when you haven't got too many runs to play with. You don't want to die wondering out there. You've got to try and be as aggressive as you can and hopefully go to someone that might be able to pick up 2 or 3 wickets.
And again, it's really keen to try and get 3. If you can get 3 wickets in the power play, then they're in the game. If they don't get 3 wickets in the power play, then they're really going to struggle, and especially with the rate that the Aces are scoring at. So it's important that they try a few tricks, and bringing spin on, I think, is a really good option, and it'll be interesting to see how he goes. And it's not a bad field. Probably I'd like to sort of see maybe a couple of catches there to help him out a little bit, but it'll be interesting to see how he goes this first over.
So Nick Brose into the attack, throws it up and worked down to long on for a single. So they've got some protection down the ground with a long on, but then they've got a little bit deeper than a regulation mid-off, just at the just on the edge of the circle, as well as a backward point, cover point, short cover. Again, this one just whipped down the ground by Flores, but they also have a regulation mid-on, backward square leg, and deep mid-wicket on the fence. So
very flat the first 2 deliveries. I'd really like to see him give it a little bit of air and give it a chance to spin. I think that's going to be how he's going to get a wicket here. Really challenge the batsman to try and hit over the top.
Butler back on strike. This one again quite flat and thrown pretty quickly off the wicket as well.
I think this will be a quick over. Nick doesn't like mucking around between overs. So I've had 3 balls in probably 30 seconds so far, so this will be nice and quick.
This ball swept and he's cleaned him up. Beautiful piece of bowling by Brose. And he's got one through the defences there of Bartlett, the captain, trying to sweep across the line. And it crashes into the willow. He departs and they pick up a 2nd wicket. So just when you think, Matty, that ACT Aces are getting on top and that run rate's falling, they lose their 2nd wicket. Good piece of bowling.
Yeah, the chance here, the risk taken by Captain Qureshi's paid off here. He's got it between bat and pad here, and it's crashed into middle stump. So good to see some reward with a bit of a risk being taken with that spinner there, and well done to Nick for backing that up. He did toss, looks like he tossed that one up a little bit more to entice that sweep shot, and he's got the rewards for it.
Absolutely. As we said, he slows it up a little bit, gives a little bit of air, and creates the opportunity, and it was really well bowled. Beautiful delivery.
So now the scorecard reads 2 for 24 with 2 balls left in the 4th. Healy makes his way out to the middle, Reece Healy. So that just makes things a little bit more interesting and just will no doubt spark some enthusiasm for this Central West Wranglers side.
Looks like this innings started a little bit like the Central West innings, where no partnership can get developed. They're just taking those wickets every so often just to keep the game interesting, just to make it a little bit tougher. So it looks like this innings is starting that way as well. So I reckon that Healy and Flores here just need to get that partnership like happened in the Wranglers between Ryan and Qureshi, just to settle the nerves probably.
Yeah, Flores certainly the key, 20 not out. He's been the only batsman that's really looked settled out in the middle, although he's been beaten by a couple of good deliveries and of course put down at slip a couple of overs ago as well. Nick Brose continues and Healy drives on the up out to short cover, no run.
And again, this will be a good one to finish this over off. Only 2 runs off it, 1 wicket. Let's finish this over with a dot.
Again, plenty of air. This one hit in the air, uppishly away from mid-off. Scampering piece of work done out there in the outfield, and they keep it to a single. So very good over there from Brose. 3 coming from it and a wicket. 4 overs gone, 2 for 25. 87 left to win here for the ACT. 96 balls remaining.
Really good over that, and you know, he slowed it up, pushed the first 3 deliveries through, tossed one up, got the wicket, and then bowled that little bit slower. And it's the key to spin bowling in T20 cricket. If you can bowl that little bit slower and then use the quicker ball as a surprise ball, it's amazing how many wickets they do get. So it was a beautiful over from him, and really has put the Wranglers right back in this now.
So Stevens going to continue. You can't blame the Wranglers from continuing to go with their paceman. 2 overs, 1 for 7, and he's swinging the ball, hooping it back into the right-handers. Here he continues. This one's flicked away off leg stump. It was a good delivery, but it was well played as well there by Healy, who picks himself up a single.
Very nice piece of fielding there at mid-wicket too. That could easily have gotten through to the boundary, so that was a nice piece of fielding.
Yeah, Ben Sheen there at mid-wicket. I think he's going to be in for a busy time this over. It looks like, again, he's zeroing in on those pads, looking for those LBs. And if they can get one more wicket here, 3 for in the power play, it brings them back into the game here.
Stephen just gathering himself as he waits for Flores to take guard. 20 not out from 13 balls, the opening batsman. He's forward and just working this onto the onside. Another dot ball.
Again, like the Aces did, he's bowling nice and full and really challenging the batsman to drive him and not really giving them anything to get under so they can hit over the top, which is a really good piece of bowling.
Testing the patience. That's what the ACT Aces did really well, and Central West early on probably didn't pass the test, but see what the ACT Aces are going to do here in their innings.
Stephen in, pitched up and worked out through mid-wicket, finds the gap beautifully down towards the boundary. It's a great piece of fielding again on the rope there. It's Nicholas Brose this time, who's been involved in everything, having taken the wicket in the last over, and that was a pretty acrobatic dive there to save what was another certain boundary.
He's gotten up a bit gingerly there too. I think that would have hurt a little bit, but great piece of fielding, and they've kept it to only 2, so probably not a great piece of running by the Aces batsman either.
We see it all the time, don't we? But that is still an incredibly difficult thing to do at full stretch and slap the ball back and make sure your feet and your body are still in bounds as well. Stephen down the leg side, and this will be a wide. So that's what they can't afford to do, giving away those free runs to the ACT.
Yeah, and that's what ACT did well in their innings. I think it was only 1 wide in the end. So yeah, Central West need to limit the extras. Don't want to give them any more than 120 balls to get these runs, because if they bowl a few extras, I think it's going to be very hard for them.
Obviously, it's the wide initially that gives them the extra run, but the extra ball, if it can go for 2 or 4, then that's when it really hurts. This ball's punched out through cover. Wonderful shot from Flores, and that's 4. That's probably the shot of their innings so far. Just flowed through the drive and punched it out through that cover point region for 4.
Again, you see that overcorrection after the wide, and he bowls that one wide outside the off stump and right into the swing arc of Flores, and he's played that beautifully out through the covers for 4. So that's the challenge for a bowler. Like, you just drift one down the leg side, and then you try and overcorrect, you correct it and overcorrect and give a wide one. He's got no protection out on the offside, so he really needs to be tied in at the stumps with every delivery.
He's just lost his way the last 3 balls or so. Pitches up again and throwing the hands that one is Flores. He said, Marty, that he's not going to play. It's going to be trying to hang around in terms of defending, and tried to smack the cover off the ball there in that delivery.
Yeah. You won't die wondering.
That's it. It's good cricket, isn't it? Just put that one back a little bit. It still enticed the drive there and didn't connect, didn't find the edge, but this is great cricket. It's still in the mixtures game.
Last ball, the 5th over. Stephen in again, pitches up, and this one is well driven and well struck, but only as far as Brose at long on. Collects a single there to Flores, so he'll retain the strike. But a good over there for the Aces. 9 runs coming from it, 2 for 34 after 5.
So really
Flores, good. 27 off 18.
Really good over there for the Aces, and again, that's a challenge. Like, it's nice to think that you can bowl bowlers for sort of 3 or 4 overs in a row, but it's often that 3rd over from a bowler that batsmen tend to get onto. And again, he's bowled 2 really good overs, and then he's gone for 9 off that over, which is really costly. When you've only got 111 runs on the board, you can't afford to be bowling those overs that sort of go 9, 10, and 11 and over.
Be interesting to see what the captain does with his next over. He traditionally bowls him 4 straight up, so it'll be interesting to see if he gets that last over, if they maybe just hold him back and maybe mix it up at that end.
Just looking at having a look at the comparison for the Central West Wranglers. After 5 overs, they were 1 for 19, so 15 runs behind, but had an extra wicket in hand. It was the next few overs 6 and 7, where they lost 2 quick wickets and found themselves 3 for 33 at the 7 over mark. So ACT ahead at the moment, but a wicket can change things as Nick Brose continues. This ball skied down the ground, gets plenty of it, and they'll come back and collect 2 runs don't think Bros was too happy about the fielding on the rope, and Flores just being able to get back for a couple there.
Yeah, it looks like it's his St. Pat's teammate down there, Ben Mitchell. So, yeah, maybe a bit of club rivalry there.
It's an interesting field because there's a huge gap between long on and deep mid wicket.
And
Flores is absolutely trying to hit just about everything there. The first one went straight and flat, and a slight misfield enabled him to get through for 2, but anything he sort of gets over that short mid-on, that's 4 runs.
Bros throws this one up, and this one just clipped down the ground. He might be aiming for those aqua seats on the onside if Bros drops anything a little bit short.
Yeah, I notice there's a cleaner or someone over there. He might end up with a catch, I reckon. If Tim Flores gets back on strike, I reckon he'll be aiming for him.
I think Yabba on the hill might be well and truly in the
game. Bros in this one, clipped, and it goes through the legs of the man at short mid-on, and they get through for a single, so unable to build a pressure there with the dot ball.
And again, we're just starting to see the Wranglers' fielding isn't quite up to the same standard as the ACT Aces was early, and they really cut off a lot of those singles, and they've just sort of had a couple of misfields already in this over, which are going to start to be costly.
He's got plenty behind this one. This one going to the rope for 4. Well struck there from Flores. Just too much width in front of the batsman, who's able to swing the arms easily onto the onside, and when you're bowling deliveries like that, Marty, it just makes things very difficult.
Absolutely, and I mean that's that big gap that we spoke about just before, is that he's really left a wide open, and Forrest didn't really need to hit too hard to get that one out through there, so great piece of batting there from Flores, and another good over there from the ACT Aces.
Yeah, Marty, you're right there. It's just the ability, I think, at the moment is the Wranglers be able to put 6 good balls together. They at the moment they're bowling 4 really good balls, and then the other 2 are being, become the boundary balls. And you mentioned there was a very interesting field because there was that huge gap from effectively straight long on to deep backward square, and with an off spinner, plenty of room to work into that gap. So, and Forrest was certainly looking for that area.
So 6 overs gone, so that's the end of the power play, but the Aces, despite losing a couple of wickets, have really cashed in. 2 for 42. Healy 3 from 4, and Flores is the man, Marty, that's been doing the damage. 34 from just 23, and you think about that drop catch by Corbin behind the stumps when he was, I think, about 14 or 15, and they could have had him back in the sheds, couldn't they?
Absolutely, and I mean that would have been, as we spoke about earlier, that would have been the 3 wickets in the power play, but unfortunately that wasn't to be. And I think just for the Wranglers, they need to sort their field placings out a little bit. That over before, they had 2 fielders basically, one behind the other, one inside the circle and one deep, and you really need to make sure that you're covering as much ground as you possibly can. And even now, that ball that was hit out there was, the fielder out deep is very close to a fielder inside the circle, and he probably needs to be a little bit squarer, round to sort of more of a square leg position, so that he can actually cut off those 2s.
Yeah, so Healy clips that one away straight away, and they pick up a couple. So the required run rate is below 5 and over, started at 5.6. So the Aces on top at the moment, and the Wranglers will be searching vainly to try and get a breakthrough here, or a couple of wickets in succession. Here's Kennewell, who's come into the attack.
That's a much better field they've got there now. That's a really good change to the field, and they're really trying to block him up here on the leg side.
This ball pops straight in the air to short mid-wicket, and they get the breakthrough. So Healy looking to just force the ball on the onside, just spoons a catch straight to the man at short mid-on, and Qureshi, the captain, taking the catch, and a bit of pressure built there, Gary, by the Wranglers there, and they get a much-needed breakthrough.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think he might have took a little bit of pace off the ball there and just sort of held up a little bit. And good change in the field there, and great work there by Darryl Kennewell, just coming into the attack, second ball. And what a great story here is he actually made his Western Zone debut this year at 39 years of age. So that's a credit to him, to the perseverance, and you like to see that rewarded. And he's come here today and get a wicket second ball, and a good bit of bowling. And maybe that's the part with the wicket. Maybe just taking the pace off the ball could be a bit of a secret to get some wickets here for the Wranglers, because they certainly need it, but they're still hanging in there.
Yeah, there's a great piece of field changing firstly, and then obviously the bowler then bowling really well to his field, and that was a good piece of cricket there from the Wranglers, and that keeps them in the hunt. So they've just got to keep working away here and trying to tie it up, and again dot balls build pressure. and they need to make sure they're doing that consistently now. So, good piece of cricket, and it'll be interesting to see how the Aces attack it here from now on.
Well, Flores is obviously still the key, isn't he? He's still there, 34 off 23 balls. He's done the majority of the scoring throughout the innings, so he will be pivotal for both sides. Aces obviously for him to stay in, and Wranglers would certainly love his wicket now.
Scott Mearn is the next man in. He's going to be on strike. So another wicket would certainly almost bring things back to even, considering the Wranglers were 4 for 42 at one stage in their innings. Obviously the Aces scoring a little bit more quickly, but keeping wickets intact for them is going to be imperative over these next 12 or 13 overs, or however long it takes them to get the runs if they are to record victory.
That's a nice little bit of shape there too. That sort of just tailed away a little bit from the batsman as it got closer to him. That's a really nice piece of bowling there from Kennewell.
Again, nice delivery, short of a length outside the off stump, and Mearn shoulders arms.
One thing we've noticed in this innings for the Wranglers is that they have attacked the stumps a lot more than what the Aces did earlier. The Aces sort of bowled that fourth stump line and bowled that field, while we mentioned that they had a bit each way in the field, but they are really focusing on bowling at the stumps.
So 3 dot balls in succession here for the Wranglers, so starting to build some pressure on the Aces. This ball's pushed out into the offside and they'll get through for a single, and Mearn will get off the strike. He goes to 3 for 45, 1 ball left in the 7th over.
Really good over here from Kennewell, and he's bowled beautifully to his field as well, which is the key. So just that nagging length, he's attacking the stumps, and he's just getting the ball to move away a little bit from the right-hander, and he just needs to finish it off now with another good delivery and hopefully pick up another wicket very shortly for the Wranglers.
So last ball of the over from Kennewell, and well fielded in his follow through after a defensive prod there by Flores. So a wicket and 3 runs from it is gold there for the Central West lads. 3 for 45 the ACT after 7 overs, with Mearn on 1 off 3. Flores 34 from 24. They need 67 to win from 78 in this Thunder Conference final.
Yeah, it certainly tightened up a bit, I think, Marty, at the last few overs. 67 off 78 it sounds easy enough, but if they keep losing wickets, new batsmen come in, if they can get it to a run of ball, certainly a different ball game.
Absolutely, they've reined them in well over the last couple of overs, and they just need to make sure that they keep building that pressure and keep building it up. And if they can get it up over a run of ball, then all of a sudden the pressure starts to build on the Aces. But it's it's that consistency and making sure that they're really tight and working really hard in and out of every over. And they probably, I'd like to see an extra fielder inside the circle just to try and build that pressure, because I think if they're going to give them too many gaps in the field, they're just going to be able to take a run of ball and get the total they're chasing. So I'd like to sort of see them maybe have an extra fielder inside the circle just to build a bit more pressure on the batters.
Ryan Gurney coming in to the attack for the first time this afternoon. It's going to be they're going to continue with this slow bowling from the Randwick end of the ground. This one's short and it's punched out through cover. They're going down towards that cover point boundary, and again a nice dive on the rope. Probably dived a little bit too soon. Again, took some turf with him, and they pick up 2 runs there as Mearn goes to 3.
Probably wasn't the best cricket all round there. It was a short, he loosened the ball. It probably should have been stopped at cover, and then they only ran 2 as well. So both probably camps be a bit disappointed with that ball.
Short again. This one just eased out to deep cover point for a single. So just trying to work the gaps are the ACT side at the moment, and pick up runs without taking too many risks.
Again, the spinner's just come on. He's just bowling a little bit flat, a little bit short. Just needs to give it a bit more air. I really can't stress enough how important it is for spinners to really get the ball up there and give it a bit of air and really challenge the batsmen to make the pace themselves.
Scamper through for a leg bye on that occasion. So 4 runs have come from these first 3 deliveries. Inching towards the 50 mark now are the ACT Aces. Again, a bit of misfielding there from Central West Wranglers, and they get through for a single. Mearn goes to 5.
He's been in pretty good form, Ryan Gurney. He was the joint Bonner Cup player of the tournament. Tournament played out in the Central West, so got good credentials. That was another good ball there.
A big waft on the onside there by Flores, who, if you can build a bit of pressure on him, he obviously wants to try and elevate the run rate, doesn't he, guys, and try and lift the ball out of the grounds or towards the boundary.
Again, that was beautifully bowled. Just gave that one a little bit more air.
So that ends the over. 8 overs gone, 3 for 51, Flores 35 and Mern 5. The wickets to fall. Robbie Trickett caught Corbin, bowled Stephen for 2. Ethan Bartlett bowled Brose for 2. And Reece Lee, the last wicket to fall, caught Qureshi. The captain bowled Kennewell for 5. Gurney's first over going for just the 5 runs. Kennewell 1 over 1 for 3. Brose 2 overs 1 for 11. Tanveer Singh just the 1 over, none for 15. And Matt Stephen 3 overs 1 for 16. So apart from Singh, they've been pretty economical with the ball, the Wranglers, and they'll need to continue that if they want to get the victory here. 61 required off the last 12 overs.
It's Kennewell to continue. He bowled a really good first over, and if he can pick up another wicket here, that'll really lift the spirits of the Wranglers.
Comes over the wicket to Flores, and Flores striving a little bit uppishly, but keeps it away from the field. So Kennewell starts with another dot.
Yeah, certainly using the change of pace really well. Kennewell, a very experienced player we mentioned before, and I think he summed this wicket up pretty well. And if you can take the pace off it, I think make it a bit more difficult for the Aces batsmen to find the boundaries.
This ball pitched up and chipped down to long on where Brose does the fielding. So a single to Flores as he goes along to 36. And you feel like if Flores stays in for the next 5 or 6 overs, the ACT are probably going to get over the line. But if they can find a bit of a deficiency in his technique or get him to lose his head, then and get his wicket, the Wranglers probably in with half a chance.
He seems to get easily frustrated, so that's the key for the Wranglers, is to tie him down and maybe deprive him of the strike a little bit too. So if they can put the pressure on the new batter and keep him on strike for 3 or 4 balls in a row.
And this will be out. Caught at gully. It was a bizarre shot really from Mern. He threw the hands at it and it almost just ballooned to gully in slow motion. And they might not be getting rid of Flores, but they're getting rid of his partners. No one's been able to get going. Mern now departs for 5. And Kennewell gets his second 4 for 52. He has 2 for 4, the veteran. And all of a sudden, the Aces in a little bit of trouble now.
Yeah, look, that ball there, just a little bit of a way movement there, and was wide, and he went hard at it, Mern, and got the outside edge. It looked a pretty straightforward catch, but any of those ones that come out there, a bit of spin on there. I think it might have been, was it Stevens who took the catch? So a good catch, and once again puts them right back into the game. Flores, we mentioned, still there. Wickets falling at the other end, and I think from a Wranglers point of view, I think they would be really now, as captain, be really in the field, really putting the squeeze on with the field. You can afford probably to have a couple more men inside the circle and really put not only pressure on the new bat coming in, but also Flores as well.
And he did that ball. He actually brought the extra fielder into the circle, so made it harder for the new batsman to get off strike. And another really good delivery, just that bit of a way shape. Mern threw the hands at it. Probably didn't need to go that hard at it. He really just probably needed to get it into a gap and get Flores back on strike. But yeah, really good piece of bowling that from Kennewell, and he's doing a great job for his skipper now with 2 for 4 off 1.3 overs. So he's doing a great job. And you've got young Geordie Mishik coming in. He's another one of the ACT Southern New South Wales under-19 players. So he's had a pretty good season with the Ginninderra team. And he's definitely holding his own, and he got a 40-odd, I think, in one of the pre-season trial games with this side. So, but I love this field now. They've really put the pressure on. They've got everybody in bar 2, putting the pressure on the new batter.
Kennewell comes into the left-hander and flicks this one off the pads. It's really well timed and well placed, and he's going to go down to the boundary for 4. So nice arrival at the crease there by Missick as he flicks a length ball off leg stump for 4, and that just eases the pressure a little bit here on the ACT. They go to 4 for 56.
The old left-handers, they love them there, Marty. On leg stump, just a nice flick of the wrist and got a pass square leg, and pretty good timing there, and it made its way to the boundary. So fantastic start by Missick, and Kennewell probably needs to get a little bit straighter.
Pretty long here down to that leg side as well. Again, this one on the pads, but damage won't be quite as severe as it's flicked down to fine leg for just a single.
Just sort of lost his line a little bit, needed to be maybe pushing a couple across, especially with the field he had, maybe push a couple across the left-hander to start with rather than trying to swing him too much. But good start from Missick. He got across. The first one was probably would have been canning in into leg if he didn't hit it, but he's definitely got a fair bit of bat on it and got off to a good start here.
Last ball of the over. This ball tucked onto the onside, no runs. So 6 runs coming from that, but a wicket more importantly there for the Central West Wranglers. They have the ACT Aces at 4 for 57 after 9 overs, so 55 needed off 11 overs, required run rate of 5. But you feel like if the Aces are going to, if the Wranglers are going to win, Gary, it's going to be getting the Aces all out. I don't think it's going to go right down to the 20th over.
Well, that's right. If they do that, the only way that'll happen is by probably getting Flores out and getting a couple of wickets and really putting the squeeze on them then. And but whatever you think, we mentioned, whatever Flores is there, you think that the Aces are certainly are going to hold the advantage.
Well, he's 36 not out from 29. He's holding the innings together at the moment, so needs to continue to do that. Wouldn't say it would be a hammer blow for the ACT if he got out, but would certainly hurt their chances of winning the game.
Gurney to continue. Nice to see him just give the ball just a little bit of air, a little bit more air, especially to the new batter. And I'd still like to see one more fielder inside the circle, put a bit of pressure on the new batsman.
Comes around the wicket to Missick, who's defending out onto the offside. In once more, Missick trying to use his feet this time as he dances down the track, but just knocked out onto the offside. So a couple of dot balls to start. Make that 3 in a row, so this is a really good start.
Yeah, getting through his overs as well, so new batsman coming in, so he's really hurrying him, and Missick there, well played by the youngster there. He's just held him up, just played on his terms.
He's back and punching and pulling this one out through cow corner for 4. Good shot, just dropped a little bit short there, and Missick, anything short on that leg side, he's going to smash away. He did that there, he goes to 9, 4 for 61.
As you said, Berkey, he just held the bowler up a little bit, gathered his thoughts, and he just jumped right on that short ball and played it beautifully out through mid-wicket for 4. So, three good dot balls, and then he's let himself down with that shorter, quicker one.
Comes into Missick now, who's playing and missing outside the off stump. And unfortunately for the Wranglers, they seem to build a bit of pressure and get a wicket, but then they have a couple of these 4 balls, either once an over or once every couple of overs, and that's just letting them down a little bit. Last ball here of the 10th over, and Missick knocks this one down the ground for a single. That's 4 for 62. I'm going to vacate the commentary box, and Roy McKinley's going to come in for the next 10 with the ACT Aces needing 50 off the final 10 overs. Missick is on 10 and Flores 36.
Yeah, look, a good 5 balls, as we mentioned there before, Marty, but that one ball went for 4 again. And I think the other thing we've mentioned during the day is I think the fielding of the Wranglers certainly probably hasn't been as sharp as they would have liked. Even that 4 that went there for boundary was a 50-50 chance of being stopped, and I think most of them have been missed. So if they can just sharpen that a little bit up again, I think that'll add more pressure. But as I said, at the moment, they're going to need to take a few more wickets, I think, to put some real pressure on.
Well, boys, we've certainly got game on here, and both sides have lost 4 wickets inside their first 10 overs. 4 for 47 were the Wranglers, and 4 for 62 here. So as Kennelwell comes in again, bowls, and that could be wide, and it is called wide of off stump. Marty, yeah, it's they are obviously, it says they're about 15 runs ahead of the game. They feel about 10 or 12, don't they?
Yeah. It's just that they're just a little bit ahead of the curve. A wicket here for the Wranglers gets them right back in it. A couple of boundaries, and all of a sudden the ACT Aces are well and truly away from them.
Missick now drives, and he draws the edge. It goes straight to gully on the second bounce. So they have bowled well. I think when they bowl full, Berkey, the bowling side have always looked a chance.
They certainly have, and I think you look at both innings when they batted. Both teams around this stage really struggled to score regularly off every ball. The difference has been is that the Aces have been able to find the boundary more often than the Wranglers did, maybe through those loose balls that the Wranglers have been bowling.
Kennywell, Fall, and Missick, who certainly looks an impressive type, plays forward and again squirts at the gully. He's 10 off 10, and it's a good start. I loved his start, the way 3 dot balls, and he got the short ball and he pounced upon it and he put it away.
Yeah, look, he looks very, very accomplished, doesn't he, for a youngster? He knows his game pretty well, which doesn't always happen for youngsters at that age, but he looks very, very composed, doesn't get rattled at all, and the loose balls there, he puts it away very nicely.
Darryl Kennywell bowls again, and this time they'll get a single to short cover, and ball comes in, and they do that comfortably, so 4 for 65, the score.
And again, he's just placing that just to the side of the fielder there at the cover and taking a quick single. So they were the sort of things the Wranglers probably didn't do enough of. They were either 4 or nothing, and really trying to go after the bowling too much. So, he got tied down, found a single, got off strike.
Flores on 36 faces Kennywell, and he drives again to that short cover. He'll pick up a single. Marty, I guess with Flores coming off 100, if they weren't losing so many wickets, Flores might have really taken this game on, but he's had to be pulled back a bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's had to contain himself, and he's done the right thing by the team. He's actually pulled back a little bit, and he's just hanging in there at the moment. And I think as they get closer, you might see him try and close it out pretty quick at the back end.
So Kennywell's doing a good job here for the Wranglers. He bowls to Missick, and he just forced him off the back foot. A little bit of indecision. They'll still get through for the run. There was a direct hit, was there? No, it came off the batsman, and they do get through for a single.
Yeah, a bit of a chance there for the Wranglers, but good running in the end. Just dropped at his feet, and in this form of the game, sometimes you take the fielders on, and if they can pick it up and throw the stumps down, you say well played. It doesn't happen a lot, and it didn't happen then. And rotated the strike again, gets Flores back off, 3 singles in a row. All of a sudden, we've got 4 runs off the over.
A wicket would be huge for the Wranglers any time now as Kennywell bowls, and it's again just short of a length and punched wide of mid-wicket for a single. So good busy work by the batsman there. They're able to take 5 runs off that after 11 overs. They are 4 for 67 at the same stage. The Wranglers were 4 for 50.
They're just starting to sneak away a little bit in that comparison, and also they're really understanding what they've got to chase, and they're taking those singles wherever they can, and waiting for that loose ball to put away for 4. So they got tied down at the start of that over, but they still managed to tick over 5 runs off the over, which is all they need at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. They're starting to get just a little bit of a partnership come together there now with Missick's on 12 and Flores is obviously on 38, but just be able to steady after the Wranglers come back and were taking regular wickets, but now it's just a little steadying partnership, and the Wranglers really need a wicket now.
So Ryan Gurney will continue to bowl. One of a brother also on the side, Joel. The Centennial Bulls Club. Not sure if you know much about them, Berkey.
No, I don't know a lot about the Centennial Bulls, to be honest, Robbie, but obviously no doubt a very, very good cricket club. Obviously producing very good cricketers, there's no doubt about that.
Very diplomatic, Gary, as they take a single off the first ball from Gurney. Matty Tabernar will be rejoining us shortly, and I'm sure he'll have plenty of information about the Centennial Bulls.
I'd imagine Tabsy would be all over that information for us, which is great. He'll be joining us after this over.
An umpire in the local Orange Association, Matty Tabernar, as Gurney bowls again, and Missick forced to try to punch it off the back foot, straight to gully, no run.
I'd say probably based on the information, probably Lithgow would probably be pretty good, yeah. Lithgow down there, so which is good to see. It's for those who don't know, that the Central West, they do cover a large part of New South Wales country. So you look at this side, there's Lithgow in there, there's Orange, Bathurst, real large areas, but a real good cricket stock come from there as well.
Gurney again, it's been a good over, and this one's just whipped off the toes by Flores. They should get back for 2, they will, so a very long boundary at that far side of the ground
really
on the Bill O'Reilly stand.
Really good running there from Missick. He took off as soon as he saw it into the gap and basically pushed Flores to come back for the second. So really good running there from the young fella.
Gurney again, Flores, and he opens up, but he can't get a big piece of that, and it'll just be a single in front of square leg. So Flores is up to 42 now.
Gurney's bowling really well for his skipper. He's just the Aces are just managing to get him away for a single fairly regularly, which just makes it difficult for him to get a bit of rhythm against one batter.
He's up again now, and that one's a bit more flighted, and Missick advances and punches it to short cover, and they'll pinch a single. Nice bit of footwork. So that does complete the 12th over. It completes our stint from Marty Garoni. He'll be back for the start of the next game, the big Sydney Sixers conference final between Central Coast Rush And the Coffs Coast Chargers, Berkey, we're looking forward to that one. I know you've got a little bit of a interest in there, particularly with the Central Coast boys. You've got a boy playing in that game.
Yeah, have you? Scott, my son's playing for the Central Coast Rush, so I know he's excited about the prospect of playing on the SCG. He's never done it.
First game on the G, is it?
Yeah, first game. So,
yep.
So he's really looking forward to that, as are the Central Coast. I don't think anyone from the Central Coast has actually played on the ground before. So their first appearance in the Plan B Regional Bash Finals. So.
What about Dad? Did he ever get the strutty stuff on the G here, mate, during your footy career?
No, nothing. No footy or cricket wasn't good enough to be playing on these grounds, mate.
I'm hearing you, mate.
Lockhart, the Lockhart Oval was probably where I was at. And the old matting and things like that, bringing back the memories.
Yep. Well, it will be Daryl Kennywell who continue. We'll have a quick get a word from Matty Tabernar after this first delivery as he bowls to Missick. And it's full. Missick drives. Wider cover. Chance for a run out. Oh, he's missed. He had a direct hit from side on. Would have got the job done from about 7 or 8 metres away. And that would have been just the wicket they needed. And young Ryan Gurney looks very disappointed. But he was side on, Matty Tabernar. And gee, look at this one. A big chance here. Could have taken a little bit more time. And maybe an underarm. But that's one you might have missed out on there, my friend.
Yeah, that wicket would have been huge. I think he was trying to hit those stumps out to the Bondi Beach by the looks of that.
Kennywell bowls to Flores and he whips it on the first bounce to mid-wicket. Kennywell looks exasperated after that ball.
He moved really well from mid-wicket there to create that chance.
He read it beautifully.
He did a lot right, but I certainly agree with you, Robbie. I reckon the underarm at the stumps would have been the better option. But a couple of half chances now that, if they take those, they're right back in the game.
Well, the Aces had a lot of direct hit opportunities and didn't nail one off, but as Kennywell bowls again and flies straight back past the bowler, past the umpire, a dive in front of the side screen. Can't stop that. He hit it like a tracer bullet, Gary Birkinshaw. Shot of the day for mine.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there, and good reflexes by the umpire there as well.
He did well.
If you're looking at here on the replay, he's hit that pretty well.
Whoa. Jeez. I'm glad that wasn't a foot to his right.
Oh, yeah, shot of the day. He hit the ball really well.
So Flores on 46. Faces up again, pulled away, heaved away, one bounce over the boundary, and that brings up a brilliant innings from Flores. He goes to 50 not out, just off 37 balls, and he is steering the Aces home here.
Yeah, look, another very good shot there. Commonly having to get hit back, straight back past you, drop the next one in short, and he's just quickly onto the back foot there, and he's hit that really well over square leg for boundary. And look, a well-made 50, really good. He's looked good right from the word go.
And again now, this time he punches it straight to point. Oh, misfield. And that'll cost a couple of runs here. Missick's pretty quick between the wickets. He won't get back, but Flores to that. And Matty Tabernar, you've walked back into the commentary box and your Wranglers, they've hit you with 10 runs or 3 balls. It's just sunken your spirits a bit, I feel, my friend.
Yeah, maybe I should have just sat down here in the back here of the commentary box and just bite the fingernails a bit more. Yeah, so I think that missed run out.
Yeah.
Is a huge play there. It changes the momentum. It puts a new batsman into strike and then a couple of misfields and some good shots by Flores. He's batting well.
Could have been 5 for 73. It's now 4 for 84 as this next ball is driven by Flores straight to short cover. That ends an eventful over and that takes the score up to 4 for 84, requiring 112 for victory. So, Berkey, your maths are better than mine, but that's around about 28, I reckon.
I reckon 28. Probably about 4 runs and over, I reckon they need. My math's pretty good when I'm looking at the big scoreboard here at the Sydney Cricket Ground with all the information.
Were you a St Joseph's Lockhart student or the Central School?
No, I went to boarding school.
Or did you go to school?
No. some of the times it looks like I didn't go to school, but no, I'm a Yanko Agricultural High School boy. So,
Yanko Ag High, yes.
So,
heart of the Riverina and Leeton there.
It is, yeah. So enjoyed my time there.
You had 3 of your best years of your life in Year 9, I hear.
I did, yes. Yes, it was very good. That's why I had to leave at Year 10. I was too old to go into Year 11.
Dear. Well, hey, Matty, Nick Bro's back in the attack. You needed a couple of wickets here, my lad. So.
Yeah, I think they need some rest. They've got to take some rest. They've got to, maybe spin at both ends, an extra fielder into the circle. They've got to try something because if they just keep it drifting like this, they'll get this with, 10, 15 balls to spare. I think now's the time. If it doesn't come off, you've got nothing to lose. But I think just these 4 in the circle is just not going to work at the moment. Just try and put a bit of pressure. A few dot balls, a maiden over in there, 1 or 2 off it.
Yep.
Bro's bowled really well in his first spell. I noticed he's back on here at the Randwick end. So I think's real. And by the looks like they're bringing a few in. It looks like they've got 6 into the circle now. So
he bowls to Missick, and it's well bowled, but he just hits it wide of cover, so they'll pinch a single there. And that's good work. They've been very busy between the wickets.
Been very impressed. We mentioned before about Missick. Very busy, running between wickets. Even if he hasn't hit it, he's still running quickly. And now he's been in for 17 balls, and his ability to get off strike is really good.
Yeah, he's been going run and ball, and with his partner at the other end, Flores, 52 or 39. It's really good cricket. As Bros bowls to Flores now, and Flores, who's got a lot of confidence about him, hits it to mid-on. It's well fielded there by Creshy, the skipper, but they can't stop one run.
Yeah, these guys have put on 34 off 31 balls, and especially Tim Flores. He looks like he's batting on a different wicket to everyone else. It's just looked so easy. I know he had that life early on when he was dropped by Corbin there, but apart from that, it's just been a classless. And he's probably the only one who's been able to play that short ball. Everyone struggled with the short ball, but he's been all over it.
Bros to Missick, and this time they won't run.
He also set the momentum early, hit the 3-4s in a row in the second over. It really got the momentum going, got him going. Admittedly, he was dropped the next ball. And the Wranglers, as we wait for the next ball.
As Bros bowls down, Missick comes straight down the wicket at him and hits it straight back to the bowler, Gary.
Yeah, I think it's a case of missed opportunities for the Wranglers. They'll leave today thinking, if only we took that catch in the second over, missed a couple of run-outs.
Bros again, and again there'll be no run. So the field's set beautifully. Just 2 runs off 3 balls. If they can follow this up, just finish this over off nicely here. A few players will go back, protect the boundary.
Just remember, Gary, it's not over till that last run he scored. So the Wranglers just get another couple of wickets here, and they're still in it.
Yeah, you're right there, Matt. I don't disagree with you there.
He won't give it away, will he?
No, that was just good. That's how you want the.
You want him like that.
Roadkill was described as earlier.
Bros bowls out of Missick. It's a straight to short mid wicket. That ends a very good over. Just 2 runs off it, Matty. 26 or 36. The odds are starting to swing back your way a bit.
Yeah, Nick Bros, 3 overs, 1 for 13. He's bowled really well. He's really testing the batsman in. Gone for a boundary or so, but yeah, I think it might be time for a spin at both ends. But it looks like Matt Stevens going to come back and bowl his last over here, and hopefully he can bowl like he did his first 2 and really ask some questions. It's time for a risk. I think they'll bring a couple of extra fielders into the circle here, try and back that over up, bowling partnerships, and get that run rate back up to 5 and pressure on
Matty,
the batsman.
what sort of bloke is Matt Stevens? You umpire him a lot. Does he leave the game happy with you, or do you let him down a bit with some decisions? But did he take it on the chin? What sort of lad is he?
Like most players, will give you some feedback throughout the game. But one thing he always does, he's the first one to come up and shake your hand and have a chat to you. He coaches his son in the local Bathurst competition, in the rep competition rail. So he's giving back to the next generation. He's a great bloke, like most country people are.
Good to hear. He's a very good bowler too, and big over here. Can they get back into it? He bowls now. Flores straight back at him. Hits him fair in the shin for no run. So that's 5 consecutive dot balls in a row. Is it Berkey building a bit of pressure?
Yeah, I like this field. We talked about putting the squares on, but he's actually only got 4 in the circle to Flores. So I think he's quite comfortable to protect the boundary against Flores, and then no doubt when Missy comes on strike, he'll probably bring it back in again. So. So they're very, very smart captain here.
He'll bowl full, you would think, with that field. He's got deep mid on, deep mid off back. He bowls out of Flores, and it is full, and Flores just hits it in front of point for a single. So that will bring Missick back on.
And the only thing I would like, Robbie, is the blokes, even though we've only got 4 in the circles, they're actually in saving 1. That was just hitting the ground and an easy single inside the circle. If you're going to be inside the circle, let's be in saving the 1.
The good thing about it too is just looking out the window. Here's his son over here running around the ground, giving water to the fielders and all that. So, just probably shows what he's done with his family, and he's kind of him as a character and that kind of stuff. Where he's got his son here to run the water for the team.
So here he is now. He's back in again. Stevens bowls for Missick. Looked to pull. I'm not sure if it was quite there. Not short enough to pull away, and he might have bottom edged it just in front of square leg. No run. Importantly.
It seems the shorter ball is very hard to get away. Apart from Flores, everyone else has struggled. We had Ben Sheen and Nick Bros get out to the shorter ball in the first innings. And again, there's been quite a few inside edges onto the pad, just missing the stumps off this shorter ball. So maybe just short of a length here, even for the next game, might be the go.
Last 7 balls have only yielded 1 run. As we come in again, now it's a nice shot. Clipped over the top of mid-wicket by Missick. They should come back for 2 runs, they will. So, but there was a little bit of risk to that, and that's good bowling.
Yeah, good bowling, good captaincy as well. By bringing the field in, it's forced him to go over the top, and he got away with it that time, which is credit to him. But I think that's the way that the opportunity they need to go now.
So we're just fantastic to have the regional cricket come into the big smoke here at the SCG. We thank the trusts and Cricket New South Wales. What a great performance to get the game here, as Missick just drops one at his feet on the offside, and they'll run through for a single. And it's just so appreciated, isn't it, by the players from right around country New South Wales.
Yeah, I know. Back home in Orange and Bathurst and Lithgow that there's been plenty of write-up in the local press, news, TV stories on all the TV about this experience, and it's a great opportunity for everyone to be able to get here, enjoy the day. We've got people here in the member stand getting to come out, enjoy the day, and as Jamil said, doesn't matter if it's a Tuesday, Sunday, Wednesday, everyone will make an effort.
Now again, Flores on strike, leg stump, he whips that through square leg. Beautiful shot. That should make its way to the boundary. It does. Lovely shot there from Flores. He goes along to 58 or 43 balls. That finishes the over. They finished it with a bit of a flourish. It's 4 for 94. They need just 18 now of 5 overs.
Yeah, Flores again. He's one thing with Timmy Flores today. He's been the only player who's really been able to find the boundary with any consistency, and whether it be straight, whether it be square, when they need to find a boundary, he's been able to manufacture it. A lot of them haven't always been bad balls, but been able to manufacture it and really release the pressure again. So full credit to him.
He's already scored 213 in a one-day match earlier in this season, and he's coming off 101 not out in the Minolta Premier T20 semi-final in Canberra. So he's seen them pretty well, as Missick on strike now to Brose, who has impressed with his bowling.
I think the last over summed up a bit with the Central West bowling innings. That last ball, a boundary off that last ball, has really held them back.
Brose now Missick advances, beautiful shot, good footwork, just got it over the top of mid-off's head, won't quite make it its way to the boundary, and they'll come back for 2. And once again, very well by Brose. He beat the batsman. He was good enough to make a check shot on it though. Yeah,
good. He went down the wicket to him, and I think he was beaten in flight, but still went through the shot and was able to just clear mid-off there. And I've been very impressed with Missick. I think he looks a really good talent.
Only a young lad. Now here comes Brose again. He bowls quicker ball, and Missick just forces it behind Gully, and he'll come back for 2. This will be tight. The throw's not a good one, and he scampers back for 2. So good, clever work there. 4 runs off the over so far. Means they just need 14 to win now, the ACT Aces, and they'll go into the Plan B Regional Bash final. And it'll be either against the Central Coast Rush or the Coffs Coast Chargers. Brose bowling now, and it's well flighted, and he'll get a single down to mid-off, just inside the circle.
Yeah, it looks like the Central West team look a little bit dejected at the moment. I think the writing's on the wall. A few heads are going down, not as enthusiastic in the field. So hopefully they can finish off well here, maybe pick up a couple of extra wickets, and you never know.
They might just rue being 15 runs short, but the ACT Aces bowl superbly. Brose bowls now to Flores, and he's done a great job, young Brose. Just 5 runs off this over.
Yeah, ACT with that score haven't had to take too many risks. They've just been able to noodle around. I think another difference too.
As Brose bowls, and Flores this time hits hard, hits straight, and it's well fielded at mid-on, deep mid-on that is. The throw comes back in, and he'll keep strike. As we have completed 16 overs now, and the 100 is up. It's 4 for 100. They need 12 to win, and we've got 24 balls left in the match.
Yeah. I think probably less dot balls as well. If we go through it, very few dot balls. They're looking to score off every ball. Have been able to do that. So even if it's only the ones, it's a big difference. It just keeps the scoreboard ticking over, and just puts the pressure on, and you get 100 in the 16 overs. Compared to the Wranglers are at 91. But they were trying to play those big shots probably a few times too many.
Yeah, they lost those early wickets, and admittedly Aces did as well. But it's not so bad losing early wickets. You're only chasing 112. But if you're setting the pace and you're losing early wickets, they had to go through a period. I think the Wranglers are probably 6 or 7 overs where they had to really just consolidate and survive effectively. Couldn't afford to lose any more wickets.
So and the other thing with that too, you pointed out before, Berkey, that Flores was able to hit some boundaries in those first couple of overs. Even though he did lose a few wickets, he was going well ahead of run a ball, and it just eased the squeeze a bit.
Yeah, it's always so important to have one of your top 3 batsmen bat deep into the innings. If you can achieve that, you'll end up with a pretty good score.
Yep. So Ben Mitchell comes into the attack. Left arm round the wicket by the look of it. Can he pluck something out here? He comes in now and he bowls to Flores. Flores gets a chance at him. Oh, half volley to deep cover, who came running in from the boundary. Overrun it, and Missick will come back and take 3 runs. So, gee, that was close. Score goes on to 103. Just 9 runs to win. But Matty Taberner, nearly a late wicket there.
Nearly got it there, and that probably sums up the Wranglers' fielding. Just those 50-50 chances haven't gone that too well. I think there's been 2 run-outs. We've had that drop catch by Matt Corbin. That effort out there was a great effort out there. Just didn't quite get there, but when you've only got 111, those 3 or 4 50-50 chances have to go your way.
He's not the singer, is he, Matt Corbin?
No, not that I know of.
I reckon
he does play a bit of guitar, but...
Yeah. Well, Matt Corbin's playing down at the Hordern Pavilion, I noticed, at the end of March, so...
Well, maybe he's got a new career.
I don't think it is him.
You sure?
Berkey. Well, you never know, do you? You never assume anything, Richie Beno once famously said. Oh, great shot by Missick. Clever. Nice little late back cut down the boundary for 4, and they're getting close now. It's just 5 runs to win, but beautiful hands there from young Missick.
Yeah, it certainly was. He's a bit of really close to a 360-degree player. He's actually been able to use a bit of power through the leg side and through the covers. He's also been able to use a bit of deft touch getting him behind square. Ben Mitchell, is that one of the under-17s? Got here, Boozer. Anything in that we should know about?
Boozer.
Geez, I hope not. Now Missick just drops that one to gully, no run.
I can't give you why that there. All I got told was speak to his dad. I'll stick it with that because I'll probably get myself into trouble if I go too much. And
sometimes they inherit their old man's nickname, don't they?
Maybe gets in a few fights. Maybe we're looking at it the wrong way, but we never know.
I haven't met a Birkinshaw yet whose nickname's not Berkey.
So
and there's nothing in that, I can tell you.
And there's 100 of them in Lockhart. That's just the main street. As Mitchell runs in now, bowls full, and Missick shows a lot of respect, just pats it straight back to the bowler. I reckon young Missick wouldn't mind a little bit of red ink here to finish off proceedings. Flores, 62 or 46. Been a good innings, though, hasn't it, from Missick?
Yeah. I'm not sure Flores will be looking so much for red ink. I reckon Flores he'll be looking to finish it with a 6. I reckon that's the way, that would be his preference, I think. He loves hitting the ball, hitting the ball hard.
And of course, it continues a great success that the coach of the Aces, Kyle Piper's had. He's doing some really good things with the Futures League side, the New South Wales ACT side, and junior pathways. As Mitchell bowls now to Missick, and bit of an indecision, direct hit him. Oh,
no, there goes
a little bit of a lob throw in there from Gurney. No run.
He's gone a couple of times. The first one, as Matty said, was hitting the stumps to Bondi. And
I reckon he threw his arm out from that run out attempt because seriously, that was a powder puff throw, wasn't it?
I'm not going to comment.
Don't tell him I said that.
Yeah, he's a Lithgow boy. They're pretty tough there in Lithgow. So good luck to Robbie McKinlay getting back down to Albury.
But shot him for less than that over the day.
Yeah, I'll give you a tip. I won't be commenting on anyone's throwing arm because I cannot throw. And anyone who can throw the ball more than 5 metres, I've got a 3-year-old at home who probably throws better than me. So I'm not going to comment on that.
And Robbie can be found at Lavington Sports Ground.
Yeah, thank you very much. As Missick pulls this one away through mid-wicket, this will level the scores at the end of the 17th over, and it does indeed. Missick goes up to 36. Scores are level, but 18 balls to go and 6 wickets in the shed. We're about to see the Aces go through to the final.
I wouldn't rule it out. 6 balls and an over. Be great to see at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Wouldn't that just be? That'll be the best over ever at the Sydney Cricket Ground. 6 and an over. Who gets to do the honours? Looks like Tanveer Singh's going to do it for us.
Tanveer's back.
Tell you what, if the Wranglers can get out of this, I'll be glad I'm in here in the commentary box. This will be some commentary, I tell you. If they can get, I know, Matty, parochial is the word we mentioned, but if they can get out of this, I'll tell you what,
we're on the
I'm not going to say anything stupid, but you know.
We're on the 3rd floor here, and there's a glass thing in front of it, but I would nearly jump out onto that field from here.
Yeah,
and give a biggest hug everyone. Tanveer Singh would be chaired off the field, so I'll tell you what, a wicket first ball here would be great.
Tabsy, if you got 4 in a row, I still probably wouldn't get excited. But Tanveer, it could be maybe a wide, Berkey. Young Tanveer did slide him down the onside a bit. He bowls now to Flores. The field's in, and Flores hits it through over point. 4 runs, and the Aces are going to qualify. They're into the Thunder regional they're into the regional bash final. They've won the Thunder Conference over a very brave and game effort from the Western Wranglers. But with 17 balls to spare, classy innings from Flores. He finished on 66 not out. Missick was on 32. Just too good in the end, Gary.
Yeah, thoroughly deserved the win. The Wranglers put up a really good fight. Not enough runs on the board was certainly. We said that at the end of the innings. We didn't think they had enough runs, and the Aces, just being able to have those couple of players who come out. There's a good partnership at the end there by Flores and Missick. The Wranglers did well early. They got some early wickets, but couldn't get rid of Flores, and 66 not out. Certainly a fantastic performance, and thoroughly deserved the win.
Yeah, congratulations to the ACT Aces. I'm sure they were down at Phillip Oval in Canberra and at Manuka. They'll be very happy into the Plan B Regional Bash final. But a word of congratulations to the Central West Wranglers. Like we mentioned earlier, has never won a game in this competition, but to get to the SCG and put on a good show, maybe short there, but take 4 wickets, give us great entertainment, and I think everyone back at the Central West and Western Zone as a whole will be very proud.
My word.
Proud of them. And as we look at some of these wickets here, and we see Nick Brose tossing one up here and then entice that straight. And so it was game on. It was 2 for 25 at this stage. And
that was a big wicket getting in from Bartlett.
Yeah, 2 for 25, and then we get this one here. Just chipped a short mid-wicket here, made it 3 for 45, and it was definitely game on.
Yeah, they certainly did. And one thing we take is the next wicket here is a good catch coming at short third man, and that was 4 wickets down, and still in with a show there, but a really good partnership then from Flores and Missick. But one thing we can't take away from the Wranglers is the fact that they played at the SCG. What a fantastic experience. We spoke about Matt Stevens' young bloke, Connor, I think his young bloke's name is, running water at the SCG. It's something that his family's here as well, and great support by the Central West Wranglers. So it's a great experience, and full credit. We mentioned to Cricket New South Wales, Country Cricket, SCG and the Trust. To be able to have this game this day here is a fantastic opportunity, and hopefully it's going to continue for years to come, because it does fantastic things for cricketers across the state.
But what it does also too, it does a great advertisement for cricket in interregional areas. Like I mentioned before, the papers, the TV stations. I did a radio interview on Saturday about this, and I'm sure all over country New South Wales we've had great coverage here. And like you said, the SCG Trust, Plan B and the RMS have been great supporters of this competition. It gives a great concept, and it complements the Kingsgrove Cup very well in the Sydney grade cricket. And I know some of our players have gone down and played in the Kingsgrove Cup, so it's really good country and city, brings it all together, and it's a great concept. So well done everyone at Cricket New South Wales, at Plan B and the SCG Trust for this.
All right, well, I suppose we very shortly we'll be taking a break, and we'll come back just before 2 o'clock for the start of the Sydney Sixers conference final. Berkey, just a couple of quick, maybe a preview ahead of that game, just your thoughts on that one, some of the players to look out for from either side.
Well, I reckon this will be a really good game. The Central Coast Rush and the Chargers there coming through. A really quirky thing here, though, is the captain of the Central Coast Rush and the captain of the Coffs Coast Chargers are actually brothers. So Peter and Richie Gallatin are captaining the respective sides. So Mr. and Mrs. Gallatin, no doubt they will be here, and as they were in Inverell when they played in the country championships up there. So. Look, Adam Taylor, I reckon, will be a key player for the Central Coast Rush as an opening hard-hitting opening batsman, a left-arm slow bowler, and he made the New South Wales country side that went up to Shepparton recently and played in that, and performed really well there. So he'll be very, very pivotal. And I think you look there is young Baldwin as well for the Central Coast Chargers. He was also in that New South Wales country side as a hard-hitting batsman also. So I think they're the couple of the key players for each side, but I think it's a really, really good matchup.
All right.
I'm pretty looking forward to the clash.
Tabs, your tip for you? Your thoughts of that game?
Central Coast are winning everything in country cricket this year, and I noticed the coach here, Glenn Snoopy Warrellands, and I know he's done a really great job with the New South Wales countryside over the years. I think Central Coast will be well drilled. They're winning everything, and I think they'll probably win the Sixers conference final is my tip.
Matt, I'm not sure what your Wranglers are going to do now, whether they're going to head home or if they do have a few beers and have a great day out. But as long as they get home, they've got to have a plan B, a train from Central even. Get the boys back to their motel or wherever they're staying, but always have a plan B and don't spoil a good day. And we do thank Plan B, absolutely fantastic sponsors of Transport New South Wales, of this wonderful concept. The SCG Trust, Cricket New South Wales, put on a fantastic venue here, as we always do, and it is so much appreciated right across the state. So that's done and dusted. It was the ACT Aces, got up by 6 wickets. They had 17 balls to spare. Timmy Flores, 66 not out, I'm sure, was probably a popular choice as man of the match. We'll be back here at 5 minutes to 2 for the big clash. The Sydney Sixers Conference Final. Central Coast Rush will take on the Coffs Coast Chargers. We won't miss a thing here. And with the boys from Bar TV, we can't wait to have you with us at 5 to 2.